Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly Dungeon Master this evening. Tonight, we are carrying on with our ongoing campaign playing Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd Edition, playing through the classic Night Below campaign. And tonight, for session 75, we have the stars of the Night Below campaign joining us. I'll go through the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Tell us who you are, who you're playing, and what level are you currently. First up, we have Hobbs.
What the? Hello, everyone. I am Jason Hobbs. I am playing Elanion Elandin, the greatest elf of this party, without question. And I am now 6th level.
Nice.
I mean, I'm really great. No, sorry.
Well, you're 5th level, and you have enough XP to go to 6th level once you get time to, because the training rules. Jerk training rules. Next up is John.
Hey everyone, I'm John. I'm playing Dorman Kettleborn, the gnomish illusionist thief. I'm currently level 6 thief and level 5 wizard, but knocking on the next level for both of them. I got 13 weeks of training ahead of me.
Outstanding. Next up is... Oh, hold on. One of them went from 6 to 7, right?
Yeah, I still got to train.
Oh, yeah, you still got to train. Yeah, of course. You still have to pay for it.
Yes.
Next up is our resident armor smith, Dave.
Hey everybody, I'm Dave. I'm playing Druin Axebrother. He is a 6th level fighter, 5th level, but able to train specialty priest of Clangadin Silverbeard. He's a dwarf and he's a little surly, but he's a good guy.
Nice.
So, if you don't like him, that's your fault.
Of course. And last but certainly not least is Jeffrey.
Buddy, I'm Jeff, and I'm playing Kalidor, the elven fighter thief, who is level 6 going on level 7.
Nice.
And the best elf in the party.
The most popular one, anyway.
Clearly a division across the screen here.
So Elanion blows stuff up, Kalidor stands in front of things and doesn't get hit, so I like both of them.
Your camera's flipped, though, so you just point in the opposite direction. So we also have 2 other players who are joining us in a little bit, but they're going to be joining us a little later. Let's talk about last session. So guys, what happened on Wednesday? What happened last session? We had an encore of bog monsters.
Yes. It was a fairly dangerous fight. Dorman went invisible because he likes to hide and then buff the other people, made them bigger. Druin got several good hits off and then started getting encased in mud. Kalidor fought valiantly and was reduced to negative hit points. Mm-hmm. And then Dorman decided to summon a sandstorm to blind everybody for a minute.
Nice.
And then once we freed Druin from his mud encasement, he used his blind fight for the first time and killed a monster, and then started to take them down, and we got Kalidor back up.
Awesome. Kalidor, did you suffer any wounds? Oh no, you saw your
brother. A vision of his brother.
Yes. I heard a message from your brother as well too. So he says hi to everybody.
Oh,
yeah. I texted him earlier this week. I let him know that we were talking about him. So guys, where we are, I think kicking off is with you guys sleeping. I think you guys successfully managed to get yourself to a campsite in the Thornwood, and you bedded down for the evening. So,
those magic items we found, and the cursed scroll. How can we forget that one?
Yes, the suggestion scroll. Yeah, that's right. You guys got a crap ton. That's how we spent the last half hour of the game. What magic items did you guys find?
We found and identified 3 unusual arrows that are hollow-tipped seeds. When they hit, they explode, and if you hit directly, it'll do more damage to the person hit, and then also explode. Mm-hmm. We found a cursed scroll of suggestion, a scroll of protection from magical traps, and a scroll of spell catching, which that's going to be fun. 2 potions, one's an oil of contemplation, which is a priest thing, grants a bonus of his highest level spell for a day, and then a potion of plant control, and roughly 11,000 gold.
Nice. 6,000 gold.
Oh wait,
Yeah, there's 5
It's 5. Yeah,
platinum. Yeah.
the conversion thing's wrong on my table then.
Okay. Yeah, no, platinum is 5 gold per platinum. All right, so then who is... we didn't talk about who's taking anything from that cache yet. Does anyone want to lay claim to any of the items that are there? Any archers want to grab those badass arrows?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would take one. I don't use my bow much, so I could carry them until the people who do use their bows more often are here.
I think it's, to be honest, Elanion and Dorman. Until, when you guys have so many spells now that you're more often taking your turns casting spells than you are, trying to shoot stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. They're probably worth having. I don't know if you guys want to... How many are there?
3 of them. And you have the best Thaco, so you should probably hold on to them.
Okay, sure.
He's expecting that you're going to fall and they're going to go off.
Yeah.
He's not wrong.
Probably.
Okay, what about any of the potions?
Explosive arrows.
I think maybe give the...
They're fire seed arrows.
Yes.
Oh, that's what they're called.
Yeah.
Fires.
Because they're little, like, clay tips on the end, and they have packed a bunch of seeds inside that.
Nice.
Dorman's eyeballing that scroll of spell catching. That's like what he wants to get, but he'll defer to somebody else if they want it.
Go for it, buddy.
Yeah, you had a pretty good strategy with that, too. I mean, I don't know if it's saying this one way or the other, but you did have a good idea for getting yourself in the way of spells.
Yeah, I can take a hit for the party. And the
It
Druin...
would also work good for me to, not get hit by the buggers from my own group who are hitting me with spells.
The only downside is if someone uses a specific targeting spell, and you're not the target and you're invisible,
But my plan is to try to catch a fireball with it.
Don't give him any ideas, Dorman. Damn it.
Good thing I don't have other spells to refer to.
Yeah. Maybe Druin should get that Oil of Contemplation.
That gives you the extra spell.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Druin? That sound good?
Yep.
Nice. Anything else? The potion of plant control. Anyone want to lay claim to that?
Sure. I was having problems saying anything because I didn't feel like Elanion was properly represented from last session.
If anybody gets it, it should be the dirt elf, right? Plants are part of the dirt.
Yeah.
Plants grow in dirt.
There you go. And then there are those 2 scrolls of immunity to traps. One to magical traps, one to mechanical traps. The mechanical one targets one person. The magical one gives a radius of 10 feet. Who wants to be carrying that?
I feel like our 2 trap finders should. They haven't been able to find any tramps this
Yeah.
campaign. Maybe that'll help out.
Oh, goodness.
I found quite a few.
Yeah, you
Unintentionally.
don't need to be a spellcaster to know those either. Those ones, remember, can be triggered by anybody.
Yeah, so it might actually help if someone who can't find them carries them, but I don't mind carrying them too. So
Yeah, I'll defer to you. I'll take my luck.
hey, magic trap finding potion.
Scroll.
2 of them.
No. There's 2 scrolls. One scroll is for mechanical traps. One scroll for it's protection from mechanical traps, protection from magical traps. Okay. All right. So then, our scene opens, guys, at the foot of a sweeping black wall. It's pitch black. We can barely see anything apart from the crenellations that line the top of this sweeping or towering cyclopean wall. We can see the darkened night sky above, full of clouds, and we can hear the sounds of screams. Somewhere within this place, there are countless people who are screaming out their last breath or crying for witnessing the fright of their life. And somewhere in those shadows, we hear the sound of a lock being thrown and a door being opened. And we can hear someone panting. And we see a figure. As the clouds part just a scooch, we see a figure making their way along the wall, lined with a bit of the moonlight. They seem to be hunched over. They have the proportions of a... Oh yeah, I gotta remember to put the werebear in today. Good call. I can't believe we forgot that 2 sessions in a row. Alright, here. I'll put Maxie with the werebear on... Oop, wrong thing. On our...
I thought this was a grandiose way of getting the werebear back into the story. I was like, what are you doing? We left him behind, and he's made his way back.
Oh, you know the reason why? Because I'm a dummy. I left him on one of the travel maps instead of on the actual campsite map. So hold on, let me put Max in your campsite. Oh, and Jeff, you haven't been in it in a while, but it's hilarious too that we actually there's a werebear in the Legacy of the Crystal Shard game now too.
Oh no way!
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
I just encountered a werebear. Okay, so there's Max in there.
If only there were some connection we can make between the 2 games.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's Lazy DM. There we go. Max. Max has joined the party. So what you see is this figure running along, and then it runs off into the darkness, and we still hear the screams and the wet, sickening sounds of things dying, the crashing of buildings, doors being smashed open. This figure is you. You're running along. Something is hunched over, or something is clutched in your hands. You're wearing plate armor, which kind of reflects the beams of light that manage to sneak their way past the thick cloud cover. And you're racing through a thickened undergrowth, a thick, choking forest. And as you're running along, what you see behind you is a tall, towering spire thrust up from within the flickering lights within the castle walls. You race along, and you know that you need to get free. This needs to survive what's happening. And you seem lost in the forest very quickly. You can barely see. Those of you who have dark vision, it has failed you. You stumble along, eyes no more effective than any mortal man. And once you feel like you have run as far as you can, your heart beating, both of nerves and from exertion, your lungs on fire from running, your legs wobbling, you finally reach a bit of a clearing where you finally get some blessed relief from the twigs and branches that seem to hit and claw at you as if to impede your progress. And that's when you hear a loud crashing from somewhere behind you. Something makes its way through the forest. Looking around, you see that there is a stump. You put what you are bearing behind there, and you turn. A glittering sword drawn to face the oncoming enemy. And what crashes through the edge of the forest and is unfortunately illuminated by the wan light of the moon is the last thing that you see in your life. And that is your pursuer. One of those massive claws comes bearing down on you. And at that, every single one of you jerks up from your sleep. And you look at each other, and you don't have to ask, because you can tell from their expressions that they've all had the same dream that you had. What do you guys do?
Elanion looks over, stoic as ever, and asks, "Threshold?" No,
That's right. For the two of you elves, actually, you were not. You weren't dreaming. You were in your reverie, that contemplative state, and somehow you were still drawn in to experience what mortals would experience as a dream.
What the hell was that?
Felt somewhat similar to the dream we had back in Heathertop.
That one was a little different. You definitely felt you had more autonomy there. This was more being, it's not you exploring an area yourself. It's being brought along on a very specific guided tour.
Okay.
Maybe it was a shared memory. Someone's demise.
Did anyone get a good look at what was hidden?
No, I just knew we had to get it out. Protect it.
And there was that thing pursuing us. What the hell was that?
I don't know.
Does anyone have any proficiency in history?
Nope. Etiquette.
Yeah, an etiquette, okay. Fun thing.
No.
Animal lore.
Yeah. So, what do you guys know about the history of Broken Spire Keep thus far?
Was this the
It was
first?
cursed by the necromancer. Maybe this was the curse.
His curse was he was being chased.
No, the pursuer might be the curse. Maybe it summoned a demon
I see.
or demons, for that matter. The paladin was killed, right?
Whoever the armored figure was, you definitely died. You felt it. It's a
I
feeling.
mean, the paladin that it destroyed the necromancer's keep. Is that paladin killed?
Oh, no. But his allies were. He was the sole survivor.
Mm.
So you're sitting in the darkness in the... I think you guys all left your tents, and whoever was on watch, you actually nodded off and had this dream.
Oh, jeez.
That is some quality role-playing, Hobbs.
Oh, jeez.
So what do you say? What do you guys intend to do, if anything? First, let me ominously roll a dice in the background, and then ominously consult a book in the background, and talk amongst yourselves.
Dorman whips out like some parchment and ink and starts to record everybody's experiences to see if we have a record of it and consult it later.
Okay. Dorman is planning on taking his next level in psychoanalyst.
I was gonna say fictioneer, but sure.
Yeah. Tell me about your dreams.
Literally.
You got that Freudian mustache already there, Dorman, so...
Do I?
No, your character.
Oh.
Do I?
It's not many people who would take the comparison to Sigmund Freud as a compliment, so good on you, John. That's great. Really?
Right now? Do you really believe so?
All right. You find Max has also had the same dream as well, too. That young, gangly guy, he looks a little harrowed by it, and he's rubbing his jaw. And all of you know precisely what he's doing because you can all remember the feeling of that massive pincer crushing your head and then plunging you into darkness.
I think Elanion will start using his prophetic oracular ability and see what it means.
Sure. So how does your do you have it written down in the character sheet or?
I don't. And my old
Give me a
character sheet is not on this character sheet. I think it's on my other computer.
Oh, that's no problem. I got my. I'll grab my complete book of wizards, and see because you're a savage wizard, right?
I am savage and a wizard.
Okay. So once per week, you can you're able to forecast the general fortunes of some major undertaking by interpreting an omen from observing the natural conditions around him. To be receptive to an omen, the wizard must do nothing but concentrate for one uninterrupted turn. If his concentration is broken, he cannot attempt to interpret an omen for another week, and he is rendered sterile. That's weird.
Nice. It's a strange addition.
If you check the book, that may not be in there. After the turn of concentration, he studies his surroundings for an omen, a rippling pond, a gather of clouds, a swarm of insects, or the veins in a tree are all possible sources of omens. The wizard... If the DM has knowledge about the proposed action, the omen should reveal the appropriate information. And then I roll a d10, and I'll tell you what the omen tells you. It says the wizard usually consults an omen before starting a journey, engaging in a major battle, or embarking on some other significant task. So, what are you thinking there, Hobbs?
Well, I'm thinking that we are headed on a pretty important aspect of the journey.
Yeah.
Elanion has decided that maybe some of our efforts have been gone in the wrong places, but now dealing with the orcs and the fact that they have the fish oil seems like a very important thing to do. Mm-hmm. So now he is going to be checking the omens to see how fortuitous this journey will be for us, and if this indeed is it seems pretty obvious that this pursuer is some kind of guardian in the broken spire now.
I think that the what Elanion you would know is that just by virtue of your studies, like obviously what you guys all witnessed was one of the common depictions of the denizens of the lower planes. This is something that is phenomenally evil. It is eternal. And if this is what awaits you, it is well beyond what you are capable of. These things are, there are denizens of the underworld that you may be able to, if you knew about them or were able to gauge their level of like relative challenge, you may be able to defeat them. But the way I'm interpreting, because there's, the type 1, type 2, type 3, whatever demons, that's sort of, in our world, we always see the horned, kind of Satan as the representation of that. In this world, it would be one of those 6 would, most often be drawn as the thing, because they're more common than any other kind of demons. So, and you would know as well, too, that particular kind is very common. It shows up in a lot of texts across a lot of cultures, and is out of character. Like the reason these things say that they're one of the most common to respond to summons, so they would have been in the world quite a bit. So, yeah, if you guys are forced to face this thing, this is on par with facing a dragon.
Oh,
yeah, they're very, very, very dangerous. So, good news there.
Yeah, great news.
So, is the DM trying to tell us that there's a red skull on Black Spire right now? Is that what he's trying to tell us? The Broken
Not
Spire?
at all. Not at
That's
all.
what it
No.
feels like. Does it feel like that to you guys? That's kind of what it feels like to me.
What it is that if if you're curious as to your question before was like one or many demons, if this thing was able to summon, if the necromancer was able to summon many of them, then that's crazy dangerous. But one of them alone could easily, absent people with substantial power themselves, especially if all of those have left to go and fight a necromancer, it could be single-handedly responsible for annihilating an entire family and an entire keep.
Interesting.
So,
Almost sounds like we have to go there now.
so you're trying to draw an omen for your trip to Broken Spire Keep. What do you think you do to try and... What's your omen that you're going to be looking for? Like, where would you go
I
for
have
it?
to come up with it. Are you sourcing the table here, sir?
What is the results is what I'm going to roll. But for you, I mean, I got tons of the cool stuff with interesting like omen random results on them. I can roll those if you like. But what I'm interested in is what your like. How does Elanion indulge in his oracular activities? How does he try and seek out signs from the other world?
Well, it's mentioned looking for patterns and stuff, but I almost feel like his might be more earthy or something. Like he might dig up dirt and then place it in different spots, using like a wooden bowl or something, and to see how it shifts or is attracted. Like if he runs water on it, then where they go or what happens to them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Absolutely. So you do that, and I mean because actually you are fairly proficient with water. You got a couple of water spells as well, so that I buy that. So you bring yourself to the side, and it doesn't take you all that long to do this. You get your kind of like mounds of earth together, and then you take your water skin, fill up your hands, bring them over, and then drop them. And let me see what... So what happens is the water hits the ground, hits the piles that you've gone there, and I think you're probably going to have to pour more than just like a handful in order to have it deform and give you some kind of thing. So you pour more and more over this, and watching where it goes, and watching what's revealed. And what you find is that as it is poured away, what you see is a couple of broken twigs that somehow made their way into what you had there. And then you suddenly see very, very angry ants kind of burst their way up and partly be carried away by the water. How did you miss that this was on an anthill? You put this thing on an anthill, and they seem to get out and are sort of moving their way around. And these ants have like a black exoskeleton, but it's a little odd in the orangish light of the campfire. They have almost a greenish cast to the carapace, or to the chitin. For those scientists at home, I don't know whether chitin is what makes up the exoskeleton of the ant. So if I'm wrong about that, this world has flying reptiles, so cut me some slack. Whatever the exoskeleton is, it has definitely a dark greenish cast to it, and there's a faint fishy odor to the water from where it pools.
Drink it.
I might pee in it, but I probably won't drink it. So the water became fishy from the ants, or
you didn't notice a smell until after the ants began pushing their way through.
Mm-hmm. Do we think that the ants are representative to the orcs then, or that we expect to be here.
Hi, sweetie. Hi, sweetie. What do you guys make of that?
You guys see Elanion playing with twigs and ants and
Drowning
water and
ants?
mud.
Yeah.
Galador, come quickly. Tell me what you think of this.
If you ask me for a magnifying glass, I'm not giving you one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Calidor would be confused by what you're doing for sure.
So we've got ants that have that fishy smell on them.
Mm-hmm.
Is it identical or is like the fishy smell?
Well, you don't smell it.
No.
I don't know if it has to be identical to get the point across. Let's just assume that it is what I would say if you're trying to decipher what vagaries Kevin is inducing us with.
Hey, it's not me.
Yeah.
It's the spirits.
Yeah.
The spirits. All right. It's settled then.
Okay. So Elanion
You've
stands up.
learned-
Go ahead, Jeff.
You've learned what you seek, then, Elanion?
The trials and tribulations that we have gone through will be nothing compared to the broken spire. But I do deem us successful in our endeavors.
And onward.
Indeed. Prepare yourselves.
Okay. So you guys managed to get some more sleep and meditation, but otherwise the rest of your evening is undisturbed.
Greater spells.
Yes. You guys have a chance to, in the morning, while Dorman prepares your breakfast or your meal, you have an opportunity to pray for your new spells. So go ahead and prep, and then it looks like Calidor is still down a bit, and Druin is down a bit.
That Dream
got
has thrown
one
off my
back, right?
cooking.
Nat 20. So Dorman ruined the meal.
Yeah.
Everyone cross off one ration. He burned it all. Clearly, your mind was on the
Dream.
yeah, on the dream.
You had to do that on a day when I didn't create food and water, didn't you?
You'll be fine. It's just food.
You can cross off another ration. Let's make another one. Okay, so interesting. You want to vocalize that, Elanion? That's an interesting
I
observation.
did. I put it in quotes.
Oh no, but like for the folks listening at home. We're not. I mean, a subtitled
Elanion
movie.
murmurs as he pushes away the food with an upturned nose. Perhaps the orcs attacked from beneath or the demon did. And that is what the omen tells us: is beware attackers from beneath Broken Spire.
Druin?
Perhaps they riddled it with tunnels or something.
Well, Druin and Dorman, you guys would both be. Does Dorman get bonuses against orcs, or is it only goblins and like giants and gnolls?
I get special attack bonuses against kobolds and goblins, but I get AC
So
bonuses
nothing against orcs. I know, Druin, you do against orcs, right?
I do not.
I think dwarves get against orcs. So then, Druin, you would
Yeah.
know, like they're orcs.
Orcs, goblins, and hobgoblins.
Okay, they are incredibly prolific in terms of breeding, and they can have whole massive caverns. You know, the things that are deep in the earth, they can just fill them like flies fitting to burst out of a room full of rotted food, to be fit to burst and then suddenly burst out, causing destruction everywhere. Yeah, they are definitely subterranean creatures.
So maybe what we should be doing is slowing our progress and seeing if we can find trace of the orcs maybe they have tunnels that come this far, or we can find their tracks or something that can help.
You know, one interesting thing is that to date, I mean, you've only been traveling for the 1 day so far, but you have not come across any orcs. Remember, like, you came across them quite handily in the northern part of the Thornwood.
Mm-hmm.
So being this close to where the Aarakocra say that Broken Spire is, it's a little weird that they're not here, no?
Well, what if there is some kind of demon in the Broken Spire? It might not tolerate orcs any better than we do.
But the Aarakocra saw things moving on the Broken Spire that we thought were orcs.
We made that assumption, though.
Right.
They didn't say it was orcs.
Well, what else would it be? It's all demons?
Well, can demons have other underlings? I don't know. I'm not a demonologist.
Well,
Like orcs.
well, Feshtokor was a demon, was he not?
He was.
Yeah. And he had goblins.
And
Oh, no.
Those shadow dog
Not
things.
another heather top. I can't handle another heather top. If this place is full of goblins, we turn around and we find something else.
We can take goblins.
It's not that we can't take goblins. It'll just take us 20 sessions to do it.
No.
What else do you have to do?
I could go kill a dragon in the Shrieking Fire.
Oh my goodness.
The army of lizard men that are building up in the Shrieking Mire.
Fear not, Druin. You can wet your blade on orc blood until we fight an opponent more powerful than a dragon, a demon from the lower hells or the abyss. I always get confused about which one is which.
I think they are. So the hells are for devils, and the
Devils.
abyss is for demons.
So we think this is these are abyssal creatures.
Yes. Yeah.
This is still Greyhawk as well, so
Yeah.
that's something to remember. That creature kind of reminds me of one of the covers of Gord the Rogue, but I think that was a Hook horror, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, this is there is a cover of Gord the Rogue book that has a Hook horror on it, but this is an Elfeshni, and Elfeshnis have been in, or not an Elfeshni. It's a what is it called? Glabrazu. Elfeshnis are those pig demons. These are awesome, and not just because they look like dogs. Oh, nice. Come endless darkness, love it. Okay, so then you guys get yourself all packed up and you begin making your way westward again too. Your invisible Aarakocra guides have flap up and continue making their way along too, waiting for you guys. You're traveling for... Oh, let's check the weather. Dave, you're back!
When,
What would you do that one?
when we stop for lunch, I'm going to cast a spell on Calidor.
Okay.
I'm going to cast spells on all of you. Who's still hurt?
I'm
Oh,
down
yeah.
4. 4?
You're down 4?
6. Sorry.
Here's a
I feel
shot in the arm.
slightly injured.
Here's a shot in the arm for Calidor. Maybe a second shot in the arm. We're going to stop there.
Okay.
Those were some amazing rolls, sir.
So here's
Yeah.
the awesome thing you
Thank
roll.
you.
Excuse me. Sorry. Have you finished up with your spells, or you want to cast stuff on yourself there too, Druin? Because you're down 22 points.
That is a lot of really crappy healing so far.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the things that does not help is that there is thick fog that rolls in around midday. So then as you guys are making your way through the twisting forest, you know what it reminds you of? It's a little... Yeah, I know. Some kind of noisy yawn. Hi. Hey, sweetie. What it reminds you of a little almost, Dorman, is that that dream that you had of Malfashnakor. Remember you were in that tire? That was more brambles and low bushes, but with the taller trees, it still seems that fog-choked landscape. So your mind likely will go back to that. There is, however, almost no wind. So as you're making your way along, trying your best to, well, I guess first off, do you want to do anything about the Aarakocra? Because if you don't want them to accidentally lose you, do you want us to keep them with you for now, or what?
I'm thinking we should head back to the Aarakocra settlement and spend 6 weeks training.
We've made a good first effort. That's a day and a half we traveled, so let's go restock.
That's funny.
I think you'll. I wouldn't be opposed to getting some training in, but we got stuff to do.
I don't think there are any wizards among the Aarakocra. That is the downside.
Well, Elanion does his own training
Yep.
with the spirit. I could train my thief.
Yep.
All right, we'll do it after. Go.
Okay, so guys, you let's see here. It's about midday as you're making your way through these fog-choked woods. When, let's see here, each of you give me this Price is Right style. You want to roll as high as you can without going over your wisdom. Let's see who rolls highest.
I'm within 4 points. No, maybe 2 points. I should look that up.
I think your wisdom is pretty big. It's like 15, isn't it? Because we looked it up last time.
15.
Yeah.
Yep. So within 3.
Caldor is just thinking of like aches and pains and stuff. Druin,
Still
he's
better
listening to
No,
Caldor.
Calidor is thinking about, does anyone here know how to fight a demon?
Yeah, because I think in your, with the two of you guys, if you, in the next reverie, if you turn your mind towards any memories that you may have had over your long lives about that stuff, maybe you might learn a little more about them.
Yeah.
It's just with your lifespan, it's tough to just remember everything from your, from your childhood.
Druin's thinking, that guy in plate mill got his ass kicked. What am I going to do? I'm only wearing bandit.
Yeah. And then O'Dorman rolled a nat 20.
Yeah, but
That's two nat 20s back to back, John.
I inversed the symbol. So I failed.
Good of you to put them down.
This is why Dorman does his stuff indirectly.
Yeah.
When Calidor hits somebody for big damage.
All right. So it's Elanion, and probably because you're attuned to to just the natural sounds of the forest as well too. But you're going along and you can hear a rattling sound that definitely doesn't sound like anything natural. It doesn't sound like trees, or the leaves and the winds in the forest, or like acorns falling or anything like that. It's something rattling, and your tribe, it sounds like a wind chime of some kind. The kind that sort of like rattles or whatever to give you,
Yeah, bones in the trees or something.
Yeah. So you make your way over towards the sound, and you can look up and see that at a slightly higher than where that would be comfortable for your eyes to see, there is this crude wind chime that's been put together and is hung from from one of the lower limbs of one of the trees, and it's the one that's rattling, and it is the strips of leather that have been tied together to the kind of central axis of this thing, holding a bunch of little pieces of twigs or sticks. And then hanging down from it are various bones from small or medium-sized creatures, maybe raccoons or hare, something like that. I think you can tell from the make, it's very crude. No effort's been made to try and, to make it balanced properly or, into any consideration into the look of this thing. It is very crudely made.
So who do we think would do that? Orcs?
A very, very unskilled human, maybe, or there are orcs apparently in these woods. That wouldn't go out of the question. Maybe if you found tracks.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, can I search around and find
Sure.
some tracks?
Yeah, give us a tracking check. Let's see what we can turn up here.
Where are you?
Nice. So they're old. You'd guess like more than a month old, but just by virtue of how the weather kind of is here and where they are underneath the canopy of the trees, you can find one or two tracks that just, they seem larger, and the gait is different from a human or an elf or something like that. These could very well be orc tracks.
I guess we follow them, right?
You don't
Why
see
would
where they
they-
go from here. From here, they die off. It's only because of where they are right beneath the canopy of the tree
Okay.
and whatnot. It's sort of protected from the elements. Otherwise, the tracks are just too old to follow.
Have any of us ever heard of orcs making things like this, or what it signifies? Is it like signifying their land?
Not too sure. I mean, yeah, you can think of like if you were using something to make noise, that would constantly kind of make noise and draw attention. What do you think that?
For an ambush?
Well, it's like protection.
Over here,
right?
over
It's
here.
like yeah.
If it is an ambush, you spare a look around. Nothing has sprung on you as you've been inspecting this mobile or the marks on the ground. I mean, it could be months that this thing has been here as well, too.
Yeah.
But
So
why would you
maybe
leave it?
whatever happened to the orcs, something happened to them in the last month or so.
Maybe something forced them out of the Thornwood. Or the central Thornwood.
You were going to say something, Kevin? Did I interrupt you?
No, not at all.
I'd say we continue, but prepare yourselves.
Okay. Dorman, you were considering casting something at noon. It's still a couple hours off from noon right now. Did you want to cast that now, or do you want to...
When we stop for lunch is what I said.
Okay. So you guys carry on for about another, maybe another hour. And then, Calidor, you're walking along, and, what is your... As you kind of looking, at the surrounding trees, the engulfing fog, what is it that your mind turns to?
I think he's still dwelling on the idea that there might be some powerful demon here that they're going to have to fight. I think he's just, trying to figure out what, if anything, he knows about demons. It's just, he's stuck on that idea, really.
Okay.
I don't know. It's like, you're heading towards a dragon, right? Like, it's hard to think about anything else. Even if
For
you
sure.
try.
I think that's probably the reason why you sort of walk. You don't trip on something, but you walk and tread on something, and you realize it's something bigger. You look down, and there is a fairly desiccated carcass, partially buried by roots and trees and such, or roots and grass and such here. But you can tell just from the rib cage that kind of juts out that this is much larger than a man.
Oh, well, I will definitely point it out to everyone.
Okay. So you stop and like, hey. And in the fog, it makes it a little difficult to see. You guys all look over, and once you look down, Calidor, and you kind of kick at stuff with your foot, you can see this is at least a year dead body of an orc.
About a year ago that we encountered these things in the Thornwood, wasn't it?
Well,
Something
you
else.
Long dead orc.
We got a
Yeah,
kill
man.
stealer in the woods.
So if it's that long dead, we wouldn't be able to garner anything from the body, like, how
Might be
it
able to.
died, or...
Might be able to.
Sure, go ahead, take a look. I don't have that kind of knowledge.
So you kind of pull this thing back, and you can see that there are one of the arms appears to have been It looks like the bone itself sort of twisted around in a strange way. Either this thing had a birth defect, or none of you guys have healing, right? As a proficiency or first aid? No?
Not until I train next.
There's something strange about the right arm of this thing. It's either bent at an angle, like the bone isn't broken per se, but it's twisted and juts out in a strange way.
I got 1 point in healing. Does that help?
Yeah. Druin, as you're sort of, stepping around, you look down. God, there's another one down here.
Second body.
Yeah. You kick at it and you at the mud, and you see that there's the white of a bone, of a skull.
Try and dig it out a little bit more so you can see what's going on.
Sure. It's pretty intact, and it's pretty sturdy. If this thing is about a year as well, too, what you find is that a bunch of the grass is, like, kind of grows through it almost to the point where, like, you'd think a weed was trying to, like, grab hold of it. And you pull this out, and you can see that there is a massive fracture in the side of the skull. And, like, looking at it, too, you've got to... like, the thickness of this orc's skull has got to be about 1.5 to 2 times the thickness of, like, what a comparable dwarf or human skull would be. No wonder these buggers are so tough.
See, Calidor, and they call dwarves thick-skulled.
So whatever shattered this thing's skull has to have hit with titanic force.
Jeez.
A giant pincher.
Doesn't look like that. If it was a pincher, you'd expect the whole thing to be collapsed in. It's one place on one side.
Like Warhammer or...
You know what? I mean, you guys are, those of you who have levels in Fighter, have seen enough, you've seen wounds before. Maybe something like a blade of some kind. A sword, maybe? A halberd? Something with a long enough flat edge to deliver that force, because there's some, like, fractured and puncturing, or not puncturing, but, like, bits of the skull that have collapsed in, and tiny cracks nearest the edges of this.
Try to align my battle axe to the injury.
It probably doesn't. The surface of your battle axe definitely kind of pokes in a lot longer. It doesn't look like it would line up terribly well. If you take a look at Ruavar, though, I don't know if you still carry that or you've traded that off for something else.
No, we trade Ruavar off, but Calidor's carrying a pretty big sword.
Yeah. If he takes his sword out, that might work.
Hey, Calidor, bring your sword over here. Let's take a look at this wound.
Sure.
And we can get an idea of what we're walking in on.
You can definitely see, if you line up the edge of the sword, that might work. It's not a perfect fit, I mean, partly because the skull's damaged and partly because not every sword's the same size.
Still, the strength of the blow struck is immense.
You would feel good if you were able to connect with that much force.
Yeah. It's not even something that he would consider he could pull off. I don't think. Not a blow like that.
So what do you guys think? What do you do?
While they're looking at the body and, inspecting sword stuff, Dorman just pokes around in the brush to see if there's anything left over from, like, a shield or scraps of armor or something that might have survived.
You find, you look around, you find actually 2 fairly crudely made hatchets of some kind. And these are buried, like, in mud and stuff like that. But you do find also when you sort of look deeper underneath the one of the bushes, you can see that there is a bit of metal sticking out from one point, which looks like it might be, looks like it might be steel of some kind. Very dirty.
Dwarven plate.
Try to extract it.
So you start to pull it. It's tough, so it's going to take you. Fortunately, you're a tough little gnome. So you
15 strength gnome.
dig your fingers underneath the surface of it, and you pull. And what you see as it's coming up, this is a sword, like a long sword that'd be more comfortable in the hands of a human or elf-sized creature. But as you're pulling it up, you hear some tearing, and there is a hand, big orcish hand, skeletonized, attached to the handle that you see kind of pulls up with it.
I kind of reach down and pry the finger bones off the handle.
Yep.
And pick the sword up and, hey, anybody need a sword?
The small remnants of mud and perhaps flesh that are on the hand feel wet and cold as you push them away. Probably going to want to wash your hands before you cook next.
Well, probably.
That's a secret sauce.
It's desiccated orc.
Has the sword got any like etches or runes on it that make it notable, or just a regular longsword?
If you're looking for the maker's mark, this is identical to what you've seen on the other orcish implements.
So
Are we thinking orcs fought orcs here?
Palfrey family symbol or similar.
Well, it could just be the weapon of this fallen orc.
But the smith who told us the story about the fallen paladin and the broken spire, he's also the same smith who confirmed that the maker's mark that the orcs are carrying is similar enough to the Palfrey family that it could be a descendant or an ancestor, somebody with enough similarities but some differences.
Or someone else said they may be taking weapons from the armory of the place that used to be a Palfrey keep.
Yeah.
You guys,
Are we thinking orcs fought orcs here? Is that what we're thinking?
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of mud and detritus around. Maybe those heat monsters got a hold of these guys, and that's why they're under the mud or nearly buried.
Well, time does that too.
But they were buried deep. I mean, a year?
They weren't very deep. Deep would be like 2 feet, even. 2 feet is still a shallow grave. These things, the natural progress of sand being blown around, or rather dirt, I guess, being blown around or whatnot.
Leaves.
Though the aggression with which the grass held tight, like the roots of the grass held tight to that orc, that's unusual, yeah.
I was going to say, what if we dug him out? There maybe something was preserved under the ground that wouldn't be on the surface.
Dorpin thinks back to that druid that we ran with in the first time we encountered the orcs. Maybe she was responsible for this.
Did she have a long blade, or did someone come with her that did?
I think, Elanion, your people are certainly familiar with druids and those who are worshippers of the, what do you call it, of the natural powers. Using metal weaponry, apart from very specific kinds, is usually anathema to a druid.
Yeah.
A spear, a sickle, things that are more like, implements or ritual items, more so than weapons that can also happen to be used as weapons. Those can be favored by the druids, but like a long sword is probably not. None of the druids you knew, at least.
Well, I mean, I was thinking it could have been that druid Asia or something. Is that what her name is?
Oleana.
Oleana, yeah.
Pretty close.
Hey, I got the vowel right.
Yeah.
By vowel.
Okay.
I think she's married to Hirilgo now.
Yeah, maybe that's where Hirilgo is.
Hirilgo did, until he got that spear, he did use a longsword.
Dancing with druids.
Attacks against roots. So, what do you think, guys?
I say we dig this thing out the rest of the way and see if it does have anything on it, and then we can maybe figure something out. And if not, then we just head on.
So if you do dig out from where you found them thus far, you're able to find 3 of these things. And it's going to basically be the rest of your day to sort of to do this, because it's...
That's fine.
Yeah. What you are able to uncover is that there are similar broken bits of their bone that seem fresh enough that it's likely, if not the cause of their death, then it occurred around the time of their death. These are orcs, so they've got lots of like broken bones that have healed over time and stuff like that, but fresh things that shattered and never reformed. Lots of injuries like that, and those of you who are like fighters who are familiar with suffering these kinds of injuries, it's almost all you would guess with a sword of some kind.
Okay.
So, fortunately, it doesn't appear as if anything else is keen to disturb you during this kind of excavation. Are all 4 of you working on this all day, or for the remainder of the day, or
Yeah,
are you guys doing
Max keep watch?
Max keeping a watch? Okay, he's stalking around his big air or ursine ears, listening and keeping an eye out.
So lunchtime comes and goes, doesn't it?
Say again? Lunchtime comes and goes, correct, yeah. It was just shortly before lunch when this occurred.
Well, I was going to give Calidor strength once lunch came around, but it's only 1.
You can still do that if you like. Whoa! Only 1, shit. I saw the 6, I'm like, yeah, that's not good.
Well, if Dorman's going to cast strength on Calibur, then I might as well do it with me. Ha! Mighty fun as well.
Yeah, so I mean, you get. I imagine you've got some kind of like a spade of some kind that you use to, when you're setting up your camp, and you're able to uncover these things. Do you look beyond? Oh, what you find on them as well too. Hold on. Yeah, it would be what they fell with. I can tell you that whatever killed them did not strip the bodies, so clearly it wasn't an adventurer. You bunch of murder hobos. Let's see here.
Said murder if it's in self-defense.
Self-defense is a defense to murder, so yes.
What?
You asked the lawyer.
Yeah, really?
Ask a lawyer a question, you're going to get a lawyer's answer.
Yep. You may not get convicted of it, mind you, but... Where's George once again, too? George Flowers. George could give a much better answer.
I'm going to get convicted of self-defense.
Okay, let's see here. I. Yeah, really. There is a pall that hangs over this this region, Druin. Definitely. Now, I was looking at treasure type. God, did you love when you do that? You get open up the book. I'm looking for treasure type. I get distracted by you guys, and I'm suddenly flipping through the thing. Like, did I want to find lost? What was I looking at again? Would each of you guys, all 4 of you, give me a 3d6 roll, please? And just let me tell you that your entire life may depend on the outcome of these rolls.
Good roll so far.
Smokes. All right. So, in total, you guys recover from the mud choked around these things and the twisting weeds. You recover 48 silver pieces. 48.
That's 12 each, boys.
Okay, so.
That doubles my silver.
Nice, you're rich.
I had 12 silvers before. Now I had 12 more. Ha!
Fantastic. So, With that completed, you probably have like an hour or two before the sun will go down. I mean, it's dark in here still, but you know, most of you guys, if not all of you guys, have dark vision, so you're not too put out by it. What do you guys want to do?
Dorman's a little unnerved by sleeping near a orc grave site. Maybe we should head out about a half an hour and then make camp.
What were you looking for by excavating these things, if anything?
I just wanted to see if there was anything else. Yeah, a couple things. Treasure. Can we tell if they were heavily burdened with like camping equipment? That would tell us, you know, like if they were close to maybe where their camp was.
You find like the disgusting remnants of like what would have been their clothing in there too, probably. I mean, most of it's quite desiccated and probably tears quite badly if you try and pull it out. But you don't find anything that's evidence of like a tent or anything like that. These are orcs, so they may be living rough, or they may have just been traveling light for some reason.
Maybe they're scouts.
Or they're close to their encampment. Did the Aarakocra know how many days we have left before we would be reaching Broken
At the
Spire?
rate you're going, about 2 more days.
Never at the rate we went today, but
Yeah.
all right.
So what do you think, guys? Anything else you do?
I think I'm going to raise these from the dead and have them be my servants.
Good.
The Dorman immediately backstab them.
I'm gonna embed my axe in the necromancer.
Guys, Elanion's not a necromancer. He's a lich in training.
Oh,
That's right.
Well, that's
Yeah, big difference.
Until he starts actually animating corpses, he can be what he wants to be.
Well, I mean, we know what Durham's going to do. He's going to turn invisible and run away. So, I'll show you. Back of my
I thought
head.
he would steal a spellbook and run away.
All right. So then, guys, if there's nothing else you do, then you set yourselves down for the evening. Does anyone want to make a roll for finding water for me, please?
I forgot. What do we roll that for?
Percentile,
Wisdom
please.
or something? What's that?
Percentile, please. Finding water, finding wood, all that stuff is all just percentile. Nice.
Oh, I think we did.
Yep. So, Elanion, since you're the one who rolled, I think you've walked over this time. Last time Calidor went looking for water, he found a muck monster, so he's like, no, you got this, Elanion. You're good.
Yeah. Have fun.
Love the water skins.
Elanion, you sort of search within about maybe 15 minutes of the camp, and you manage to find a small brook that's kind of cutting its way through. So, you're able to get to a lower spot where it pools up, and you can start filling up the water skins. But as you bend down to do it, the fog has been finally clearing as the temperature has been dropping, and the sun's been going down. You can hear rattling again, too. And since you're the one who heard it the first time, too, you know precisely what you think you're hearing. You hear more rattling of another one of those wind chimes. Or mobiles.
Okay. Or fetishes.
Yeah. So you make your way over, and, you are alone and in the woods, so you know that you are not seen. And as you approach this, you can see... very similar to the other one, although this one looks like it's been here considerably longer, just by virtue of the state of it. It's barely hanging together. The straps have clearly seen a couple of seasons go by, and but it's still functional. A testament to the craftsmanship of the orcs. It may look ugly, and it may, barely function, but boy, does they build things to last. The purpose of this escapes you. And you don't need to roll for tracking to know that you can't notice any tracks beneath this.
You don't need to roll to know that you
Yeah. Well, you look underneath and like there's what it is that with the fog, it's sort of become dew, so it's wet mud underneath. There would be clear, tracks there. There's nothing. So it's got to have been something that this is, when it was set up, it's got to have been much older. Okay. I'm going to take the skins back and let everyone know
that we found water. We can all refill our skins, and it seems that the orcish fetishes were quite common in this area.
Okay.
What were they fending off or scaring away, I wonder?
Or drawing attention to. Stop you from getting lost, maybe.
Maybe.
Orcs tend to be superstitious lots, so.
Okay. Oh, look who unexpectedly shows up here.
Hello, hello. Let's all talk to him right now, because he can't talk back.
Yeah. Say, hi, George. What's going on?
Hey, George.
Just keep acting like, what's up? George, can you hear us? George.
Well, George has been dealing with some pretty brutal back pain the last couple of days, though. So,
That's true.
Yeah.
hey, George,
I'm here.
how you
Yes,
feeling?
Hey. Definitely better.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Someone apply to cure moderate.
Basically.
Yeah?
I've started with 1 hit point, so
Good.
I'm about halfway back.
Good. Back, but
Jeez, does that mean that you're like higher level than first, huh, George? I don't know.
I think 1.5.
All right. So, guys, you are betting. Why don't you just take a moment and tell Knox what you guys have encountered thus far today? Because Knox will have
Just
experienced the
today?
same.
Knox,
dream.
what's the last thing you remember?
Let's see.
Oh, yeah, Knox wasn't here on Wednesday either.
I wasn't here yet.
He was here the week before, though.
Yes.
We
On
did
Friday,
defeat-
correct.
Yep.
We successfully defeated the Shambling Mounds both times. Found a pretty good treasure.
That I missed.
There's some cool loot for you to look at.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I was calling them elemental tree creatures, but Shambling Mounds makes
Pretty
sense.
sure that's what they were.
No, I think you're right.
Oh, okay.
I just when I first saw when Kev showed us the picture, I wrote down, I don't know, some
Swamp
kind of
thing?
elemental trees. Yeah. Yes. So I was here
Dr.
for all
Holland.
that.
Well, we
And
defeated
then-
them again because they rose up.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so we had to defeat them again.
Were they
And
just
then-
as hard to kill the second time around?
Yeah, maybe harder
Yeah.
because we didn't have all our spells
Yeah.
to burn
Right.
them
Or
and
people.
stuff.
Or people.
Right.
We were down to 4.
Right. Okay. Cool. I'm glad you survived.
Yep. And then we tracked on. We had a group nightmare about a demon killing
Pursuer.
a human out of the black spire, out of the broken spire.
Huh.
This was the vision.
Yeah, the human was trying to carry something away precious and protected and wanted to get it away.
Oh shit! I didn't see that there were like human arms coming out of its chest there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
And obviously not somebody anybody recognized or in garb that we recognize.
So what we were talking about is just sort of what, because the different types of demons are kind of like the most common, and in particular because this type is seen most often. The fiction says that they respond to summons more often than other demon types. That this would, across all different species, the most common sort of, shorthand for a demon would be this creature with giant claw, a dog's head and giant pincer claws, or the Baylor with the giant the giant horns and the wings, or the Merilith with the multiple arms and the serpentine body, the Vrock, the big
Vulture.
vulture, demons, the Nilfeshni, those disgusting pig demons, and the Hezru, those frog demons.
Yeah. Okay.
So
After that, we have continued on, and we have found a couple different fetishes that we believe were left by orcs at least a month ago. and we found like a site of a bunch of orcs dying because we found their corpses. But we
Interesting.
don't know what. Yeah, so we think it's the druid because they look like they were affected by maybe the druid spells, but they were also killed by a sword, which the druid wouldn't carry. So still a mystery.
Okay, interesting. And we're
Now
still on our way to the orc encampment?
To the spire, but we don't know if the orcs are even there anymore because someone's obviously been killing them.
True. And the Arakok are still helping us
With us,
guide us there?
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, 2
Awesome.
days.
Great. And if I remember correctly, we thought it would be around 3 days or so.
We've been moving a little slow though.
Okay. Yeah. I'm all for that. I'm all for it.
We actually had a viewer respond as well too on that. And my joke I made about like, oh, the rate we're going, blah blah blah. They're like, take your time, take your time. So awesome. Thank you for that. So then, let's see here. When? You guys lay down for the evening. You've had also thick fog all day. Did you guys mention the wind chimes as well?
I said bone fetishes is what I
Yeah.
was talking about. But
Okay.
Yeah, you found 2 of them so far, and you found those bodies that they've dug out as well that seem to have those very specific wounds on them, and they carried the same weaponry that the others had. Forgive me if I'm repeating stuff, guys. I was looking something up and didn't hear what you said.
Oh, yeah, their weapons had that same maker's mark that we had found on the first batch of orcs. The ones that's similar enough, but not the same as the Palfrey Smiths.
Weird.
Okay. So, evening comes. You guys bed down and each take your turn keeping watch. The fog lifts, but the overcast skies make it difficult to see where anything is, and unfortunately, you don't really have a huge clearing in which to make a make your bed as well. Would someone give me a D5 roll, please?
I could do it.
Okay.
Cool.
Nice. So don't roll. Okay, Knox. Just in time.
Yeah, perfect.
So Knox, you are sitting on watch and having experienced that nightmare, what you heard is that whoever was on watch last night, they nodded off to do that, and what the elves, and again, forgive me if I'm repeating stuff you guys already said, but the elves, you know how they sleep, they don't sleep, they go and enter that reverie. What they say is that they actually were forced into some kind of dream. They dreamt it as if it happened to them. It was not like the reverie where they're going through their own memories. You know? It's got to have been, actually, to think of it, it's got to have been really upsetting. If that's one of the first times in your life that you've been forced to live someone else's memory, that's got to be really, ugh.
Calibur's been thinking about basically nothing else since.
Yeah, it would be like finding something, you know, incredibly unnerving or frightening in a safe place. It's the throwing back your sheets in the morning and finding there's a snake under the bed, right, or under your sheets.
Worse off, we felt the guy die. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Max has throughout the whole day has been still touching his jaw, and you know precisely that the memory he's remembering is the sensation of your head being crushed by that giant claw. So Knox,
Probably, I was going to say the most important thing. Elanion did a reading, checking the omens, and look at Captain Jeffrey's like.
The most important thing we've done. Yeah.
Well, it's important to me for sure.
And we found that he believes that the orcs, controlled by the Deep One, infiltrated the broken spire from caverns beneath it.
Uh-huh. Very interesting.
And we're all going to be fine, but Knox probably won't make it. Sorry, buddy.
No, I trust me.
The vision was very
I can read
specific.
the signs. I can read the signs too.
I saw the. Oh, sorry, we're not supposed to sing, are we?
Well, if you do it as off key as that, then it's unlikely that the
There's
circle.
not a
You know what
there's
I'll
not
know.
an algorithm or software that'll pick up that that's actually remotely close to the songs.
It'd be great if it was some
That is
other.
one of
They claim copyright over some other song. Then it's not like Johnny
Certainly.
Cash's "Ring of Fire." What? Okay.
That was Judas Priest played backwards, isn't it?
Yeah. So then, Knox, this is all sort of like, running around in your head as you're sitting around the crackling fire that is there. Let's see if I can find something a little. This is great moving around. Let's see if we can find John's favorite unnerving music. When I get the nope response,
singing.
I'll know I get the right one.
It's unnerving.
Gotta love Kevin MacLeod for having a specific type of music called unnerving. It's a category I can search. Here we go. Ooh. Well, that's synth. Probably don't want synth in here. That's more of a Starfinder thing. Let's see here. Oh.
It's not that unnerving.
Fantastic. Here we go. So, the evening comes. The music from the day dies off. The wind through the trees begins blowing. And at John's specific request.
Yeah.
We
That's a
have
good-
Knox.
I start running.
Fuck you! Run off. All right, so you are up. The fire is crackling. Again, the wind is going through the trees. But you can't see anything. It's that kind of night around the campfire. It may very well be Hobbs, actually. Yeah. It's terrifically unnerving. You're sitting and looking up, and it's that kind of thing where the light of the fire creates almost like a little bubble, where there's a point where you can see it still reflecting off of the leaves above in the trees, but then beyond that is just utter blackness. The overcast skies seem to shroud or, conceal jealously the light of the stars and the moon. So it's almost as if you're, in a well-ventilated cave, but one that muffles the sounds of everything going by. And if you turn your ear to it, you think you can hear off that rattling of those bones hanging from the tree that Elanion told you about. What is it that you're doing? Are you sitting? Are you pacing? Are you keeping an eye on the...
I think that I'm was kind of kneeling, like on both knees, and looking up at the sky, hoping for a break in the clouds to do some, astrology to kind of based on what Elanion told me about the signs of portents that he experienced. But obviously, I'm not finding any. But I'm just sort of like in the position, ready to sort of read the sky if I can.
You can't help but think that this feels, in the stillness and the damp and the claustrophobic darkness that surrounds you, that this is an intentional effect to shroud the wider world from you. Something catches your eye. To the left, though. It's a faint mote of blue light off in the blackness. So faint that, you think your eyes are playing tricks on you the first couple of times. Yeah, you turn to have your back at the fire so that you can be looking just directly out. And is it that it's getting stronger, or is it that it's it's getting closer. This blue light seems to get longer. And it has a hazy, misty quality to it. You can't judge how far off it is, but you can tell it's not at the edge of where your camp is. Did it get colder in here too? Your back is flush against the fire. You can feel the heat on that, but it must have dropped, 10, maybe 20 degrees. And that blue light gets closer, and it seems to stretch out as well. The light seems to be at about your height. And as it's moving closer, there is a very, very vague humanoid form. You can't make out any details. Would you give me a dex check, please?
Yeah. Okay. Double check. Okay. Well, actually, I know what it is. Let's roll it. Whoops. Here we go. Nope.
19. Awesome. You guys are getting all those rolls out of the way. John has rolled 2 nat 20s so far.
Oh, really?
Cooking check and something else. So you stumble and fall. And as you hit the ground, you can feel something writhing on your hand. Would you give me a save versus breath weapon, please?
Yeah. Here we go.
Hold on, let me see if there might be a better save for this.
Well, I'll take this one if
it's not spell. Yeah, whatever your roll, you can still take. Let's see here. It's breath weapon is probably the best one. Yep. So what you pull back, and there's grass that seemed to grab your hand, and you look down, you can see the grass is sort of like it's wriggling. It's not thicker than what normal grass is. It's moving in the weird, like, undulating way that, like, if it was caught in a breeze. But it is distinctly unnerving, looking more like black tendrils jutting out from the ground. And you can feel it kind of pulling at you. Oh, what do you do?
I am going to look around to see which companion is closest to me.
They're all intense at this point.
That's what I thought. Yeah. So, since I can't see anybody, which is further unnerving, I'm going to cry out. Okay. And I'm going to yell, "It's got me!"
You're about to?
Yep.
And then when you look back to try and, see where you are, something is standing at the foot, basically at your feet, where you fell, and looming down at you. A hazy blue glow around it. And this is what you see.
Oh.
Ooh, big sword.
Why does he gotta be a foe?
I bet that sword that sword looks like it could cave in a skull.
The face is concealed. This is a little stylized. This is a Warcraft image, and Warcraft makes swords that make like anime look like they should make bigger things. So everything is a big fuck off, whatever, regardless of whatever your class is. So, but it's the look of the face though is correct, and you can see that they're it's armored. It is a humanoid looking face. The ears are what remains of them are curved. They're not pointed like an elf or a half elf. And you can see movement underneath that sickly white skin that covers its mouth, as if it's moving its jaw, trying to say something. And you kind of move, and this fucking grass is still trying to get you. What do you do?
For a second, I consider I put out my hand as if I'm going to summon some magic missiles to hurl at it.
Yep.
But when I see its mouth trying to move, I stop, and and I look at it and try to look into its eyes. I'm not trying to get up. I'm staying in the same position at the moment and just saying, "What do you want?" in common for now.
Yeah. So you say, "What do you want?" And those bluish eyes are looking down at you.
Mm-hmm.
Its jaw moving, and you can see that its pallid forehead begins to grow ever more creased as the agitation grows.
And that motion of its mouth, does it to me look like it's trying to form words, like it's trying to actually speak, or does it look like, okay?
It doesn't look like masticating, if that's what you're...
Yeah.
It's not chewing on something.
Yeah, okay, cool.
I'm hungry for human flesh. Where is it?
Well, that's... I mean... That's
Sorry, I had something in my mouth. He spits out an eye.
I'm going to attempt to stand up slowly.
Okay.
If I can get up.
It takes effort to pull, and you leave tufts of grass behind you, but you're able to stand up to your feet, and this thing is still speaking to you. And as you get up, you're able to get more of this. It's the tattered robes that are on it have kind of fallen away, and you can see that there is armor underneath there, and there is on the or at the waist is this big sword. I mean, it's a long sword. It's not the cartoonish skull sword in here. And the crest on the armor matches something you have seen before. That is the family of the Paul Freys.
Is he a lot bigger than me?
How tall are you?
I am 6'2".
6'2", okay. Then you actually are probably about 2 inches taller than this thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's gesturing with its hands now.
From my expertise in any kind of spell casting sort of movements.
No, definitely not that. No. It's more of like a hand talker kind of thing. He's the level of agitation and the furrow that's now appeared in that chalk white forehead, and the brightness of his blue eyes that intensifies suggests that he's reaching his hand out. Let me try and do the gesture for you. He's reaching his hand out like this.
Okay.
And gesturing with the other hand as if agitated, like...
Yeah, like asking me to do something.
Demanding something, or... He's also gesturing to the side or something, and then gesturing to the tents as well. You can feel... if you stand still for another minute or so, what do you call it? You're gonna have to move your feet to keep yourself from being grasped by this grass at your feet.
I'm gonna stand still as I can because I don't want to. I want to stay close to him, and
okay.
I point out. I hold up a finger like one moment, because I don't think he can understand me. I'm not totally sure, and I say, and I'm gonna reach into my bag very slowly and like keep eye contact.
Okay.
And while I'm doing this, I'm going to say,
as you're reaching into the bag, it very, very interests him. He stops gesturing and he's looking to see what you're bringing out.
Okay, so I say one word just to try to like really focus everything, all of his energy on trying to understand what I'm saying, and I just say Paul Frey, and then I pull out, I actually pull out a Fang of Fury.
Okay.
That I have, and I offer it to him.
Okay. He looks. When you said the word Paul Frey, his eyes he seems surprised by that. But when you offer that, the level of agitation, it's as if it snaps right back. And it goes so quick, it's like the way a child would, in the sense of, like, just it goes from 0 to 10 in a second.
I'm familiar.
Yeah, you may have a passing familiarity with that. So he and he steps forward now, so he's right near you. And you can feel like the air around you is cold at this point.
Okay. And just so you know what Knox is thinking, he believes that in this moment that this isn't really happening, and this is a part of his omen reading ability.
Okay.
That's coming to him. It could be totally real. This is what he's thinking.
Okay.
So he's having a communication with the beyond or something. So he's acting in a way he probably wouldn't if he actually thought this was really happening.
Sure, yeah.
So I say you need something just to try to see if you can understand anything I say. And does he nod?
He gestures and nods, angry, and he's looking, and the thing that had the palfrey on it, he reaches forward. He moves very, very quick and grabs with that gauntleted hand, grabs the banner or whatever it was that you brought with you. I'm assuming it's the thing you brought to go and see the stone giants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pulls it out and gestures at you with it.
We are here under the banner of Palfrey. We are allies.
He's, again, just gesturing with it. He seems to be getting more agitated right now.
So he's actually holding it?
Yeah, and he's gesturing at it as if, why don't you understand? Again, it's not... the level of agitation he has is not reasonable. It's certainly more than you would expect, but...
Yeah.
You also know, I think, that, those whose spirits come back, it's not the whole person who comes back, necessarily, right? So the veil through which they pass often leaves a lot behind. So whatever this spirit is, or specter, it may not have full faculties.
Mm-hmm. In terms of the crest itself, is it stylized in a way that I might have a sense of how old it is? I happen to have ancient history. I don't know if I can, just to get a sense, is this 1,000 years old? Is it sometime recent?
What else have you noticed that has markings on it from the past?
Their weapons.
Of the orcs, right? Didn't whoever killed the orcs have a similar...
They had weapons. It was the marking, the tooling of the craftsman who made it. That's what distinguished it.
And that seems to be a similar
style. If what you're saying is you want to look down to the long sword at his waist?
Yeah.
You look down and then your eyes snap up because it's getting so close now. It's identical. It's identical to the one you found on the orcs from last year, the ones that you faced in the north, and then the ones that you most recently dug up.
So, trying to figure things out, Knox says, did the orcs and their masters stole from the palfreys?
He shakes his hand and then places his hand, before you can really react, and I guess you still think this is a dream as well too.
Yeah.
You put your hand, he puts your hand, or his hand, on your head, and you sort of are suddenly cast back, and we're in blackness again. And we can hear the screams of people dying. We can hear the shattering of heavy stone. We can heavy wood and solid stone. We hear the roar of something horrific, but all we see above is a cloud-filled blackened sky, and it's complete blackness from where we are. But we hear the sound of something, a lock being thrown, and then a door opening, and the heavy breathing of a man. Now, you can smell the burning flesh. You can smell the acrid odor of hay, flesh, and wood burning from within the castle. You sparrow look up at what in the daytime is a glistening stone tower. You can see it slowly shift to the side, no doubt weakened by the fires raging within. Soon to collapse, no doubt. But you run, cradling your package in your hands. And as before, you can feel yourself running blindly. This time you can feel the panicked urgency that also causes your heart to beat fast alongside fear and alongside exertion. You stumble and fall more than once, but carefully keep that package of yours up. You stumble to your feet, though, once, twice, 5 times. You know that under your armor, your body is battered and bruised from the bumping into things in the dark, from tripping over things in the dark, from your determination to keep this thing safe. Your package, your charge, is your duty, and it is worth more than your life.
Mm-hmm.
And then you reach a clearing, and you stumble forward, resting your hand on a stump. And all of you are sickened, knowing what is to come next. You place your package by the stump. It smells sweet. And you can see the palfrey crest has been stitched into the blanket that wraps up your package.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear the roar again and the crashing behind you. You turn back, you draw your sword, and you assume a defensive position, but faster than you could have imagined. Your pursuer, again, goes out from the darkness. Its massive claws crush around your head. And in addition to the pain, you can taste what is your insides as your head collapses and those juices run down your tongue and choke your throat. All of you jerk awake. Knox, you are flat on your back, staring up at the blackened sky, and you hear the sounds of everyone waking up again. You all know what you've experienced.
And I don't see the special foe anymore.
There's
And
nothing.
even though I don't, I say, we will seek out your charge. We will find it. We'll set things right. I just say it to the air.
Okay. Slowly, each of your companions comes out from within. Yeah, Dorman is just, what the hell? Once again, Elanion and Caldor, you've had your reverie pulled out. But it's almost a grateful one because you guys, you have a name for this thing now. Not a name for this specific thing, but you know Glabrazu. These are some of the most fearsome foot soldiers of hell. These things could storm the fought in the front lines in the wars against the demonic drow, those before they were forced below the earth. Foolish humans call to these things and answer them. But they are task-driven. Immortal beings they may be, but they don't have the patience of elves. And when a task is completed, they're often eager to move on to the next.
I check on my companions to make sure that everybody is okay.
Sure. How is everyone doing? Max right now is in his human form, and he's just shaking. His hands cannot stop shaking. How are the rest of you guys?
Dorman's going to go over and see if Max is okay.
Okay. I think Dorman tries to hide it as best he can, but his hands are trembling a little bit as well.
He's come close to death a few times, and but yeah, that's completely unnerving.
Dorman, he needs some alcohol.
Do you have any packed up?
But Joey's had some. Come on.
Well,
Or that's Falcarol. Falcarol's always got booze. I'm getting my characters mixed up. Sorry, folks.
Whoever has alcohol, Knox is visiting that person.
Okay. So you guys all sit around the crackling fire.
I think that what Calidor is thinking is, he's thinking about his brother, and he's thinking, many times I've wished that you were here, Rilico, but now I'm glad you are not here with us on this dark mission.
That said, Steve, if you're watching, you should freaking log in.
Most definitely. So, what about Elanion? Having been shaken out of his reverie once again from this, what's going through his mind? Your vision that you had, your oracular future, nothing suggested anything like this.
No, this is something else. We were more interested in finding the keep, but this is something that was fleeing the keep. Does this make any sense with any of the stuff that we had heard at Palfrey's castle, like losing a brother or an ancestor or anything?
What do you guys remember? What you heard there from Palfrey's keep?
I thought I remember hearing something being burned down.
Bless you.
Thank you.
That the castle in the Thornwood is the old Palfrey's keep.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember much more than that.
He didn't want to talk about it, so it makes sense that if it was overrun by orcs, he wouldn't want to. But
You heard no orcs. Oh, Druin knows the sound of orcs. You heard no orcs in that vision. You heard one thing roaring inside the keep, this second vision.
Yeah, I don't remember any mention of demons. Oh, here we go.
yeah. The rumor says the new masters from the depths of hell.
That's what we heard. Well, those are the notes that I took or Druin wrote down when we were talking to the smith.
Interesting.
Well, this revenant's going to plague us until we find its charge.
Yeah, I agree.
did we get enough points that we could try and track it down? Points of reference? In the vision?
I don't think so. In your vision, you're unlike, when you were in that vision, you couldn't see in the darkness. You were completely. How do humans and halflings function like this? They could see nothing running blindly through that, as if their eyes were closed. No wonder he fell.
A while ago too. So.
And you find yourself, as you're describing it too, you keep referring to it as you, and then correct it and say he, because it felt so personal for each of you. You experienced the panicked flight. You experienced the fear of that thing coming out and the pain of its final moments.
It's unnerving.
So, we are at our midway point. So why don't we take our break now? We'll come back and see what you guys plan to do. We'll check in with chat as well, too. Howdy, chat. And then we'll see what you guys plan on doing next. So,
There's
back.
some quality Knox jokes in the chat.
Awesome. I love it.
Awesome. I look forward to reading them. So we'll be back in about 5 minutes, folks.
I lied about the quality, but
It's the effort.
This music is creepy.
Yep.
I think we got to find that thing the ghost is pointing us at.
Totally.
You got any divination spells there, Knox?
I do not. I have some minor skill in reading omens and astrology, but nothing really incredibly helpful. But just from what we've seen, there's lots of possibilities, including one which occurred to me when Kevin mentioned the word blanket was some, baby of some kind. But it could be an artifact. Just to, but I just got the feeling that it was like, because it was such a important charge for this former knight, it seems like it would be something incredibly, it wasn't just like, it didn't feel to me, this is Nox's feeling, it didn't feel like part of his duty or something. It felt like above and beyond that some life might have been at stake, and he was the only hope for getting this child to safety, and he failed, and that child then was taken by demons. That's his feeling.
Help me, Knox, the unexpected. You're my only hope.
You're in trouble then.
So, howdy to everybody who's in chat here. I got a couple things I got to remember in mind here. Jeffrey, what's shaking? Jeffrey, if you are not on... Well, I'm assuming you're on the Discord as well, too. I see Jeffrey asked about a conversion for Hero System, for D&D to Hero System. If you remind me on the Discord, I can find that for you. There's a link with a site that has some really good conversions for 5th edition for different versions of D&D even. Like, there's one that's like 2nd edition, one that's like 3rd. So if you remind me in the Discord, I will be sure to post that when I get off. Wasabi, what's shaking? Howdy, howdy. Brian, what's going on? Fred, thank you very much. Best of luck to our heroes. I'm assuming he means me, so the monsters, he's wishing luck to the monsters once again. Donald, I think it was Don who actually mentioned about the take your sweet time, so thanks, Don. If I got that wrong, then my apologies. But Tim, what's going on? Thank you much. Yeah, fantasy hero, blah, 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 blah. Unimportant hero, howdy, howdy. Unimportant hero too. I got to thank you as well for that song you sent me. I can't remember the name of the band. The Weekend maybe. But that song is now my official song of the late summer because I listened to it like crazy. Thank you for the recommendation. It was when I was listening to The Wall all day and I was like entering crushing depression. I'm like, please give me something else to listen to. Good Lord. What else here? Hi, Anna wishes you all luck as well too. She just came back in. Oh, and someone asked what kind of dog Anna was as well, too. Anna is an American Pit Bull and Whippet cross. She's also quite a bit of monkey as well, too, because she gets into a lot of trouble. Actually, that's not true. Just sometimes she likes jumping on gaming books. Metagaming, what's going on? Howdy, welcome back. Oh, and I see now we're entering into the Knox joke. I've entered into that part of the chat. And Gonzo, what's going on? All right, so guys, I saw you guys were having some talk about what you experienced and what is going on. What are you guys thinking?
I mean, Knox is unnerved, but not just from the, experience itself, but from the deeper ramifications of what that moment in time may have led to ultimately that, is happening now. In terms of the possibility, because that blanket, you said that he was carrying a blanket, Knox immediately felt like instantly like, oh, it must be a child, a baby or something, and that essentially a baby was put in the charge of this knight and he fought, as bravely as he could and was killed trying to defend this helpless baby, and that baby was taken by demons and done who knows what with, and perhaps has returned in some kind of altered evil form to this world or something. But this is all complete speculation. It's more of a feeling than a thought out rational kind of theory.
So, I think what Elanion and Calidor, if you're thinking, so I'm clear, you're thinking that this vision that you've been seeing, that might be somehow connected to the demon, or the.
Well, the thing we just saw, the Glebrezu.
Yep.
That thing took this if it was a baby, would have taken that baby to hell, and something might have been done to it. Yeah. Something might have been something incredibly awful. Didn't seem like you would send demons after a child that you were going to just kill, or there was something greater going on. So again, this is just his complete wild speculation. It was more of the feeling that he got from the spectral knight,
sure,
and the importance of the charge. Didn't feel like just simply duty. Felt like more to it.
As Knox says that, every single one of you agrees with that. That's exactly the feeling that you felt in that most recent vision.
So now Knox feels like it's weighing on him to not find the charge that was given to what now feels like him, but was actually to the Spectrum Knight.
Yeah.
So he's unnerved. What time? How much? Where are we at? Night.
This occurred shortly after midnight.
Okay, so we still have to try to sleep through the night, which is going to be hard.
Yeah.
But he's going to do it because he needs to get some spells back. So.
Okay. So, in spite of the ever increasingly traumatic vision, I guess one of the things that you guys all recognize is that this has been an escalating, sense of trauma. This most recent one definitely feels more, felt more real, and you felt more present in there than you did before. And the sword that you found buried with those orcs, you were matching up the different weapons that could have caused the damage to the other beings.
Mm-hmm.
You saw that Calidor's sword, whose name I can't remember right now, that was sort of around the same size. The sword that you found, that could easily have done that same damage as well. Although the force of the stroke would have had to have been incredible.
And did we happen to notice anywhere on this spectral, I'm calling him a knight, in the spectral knight?
He was dressed like a knight, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Did anything seem like, obviously we saw the crest of Palfrey.
Yep.
But did anything that he was wearing or something about the sword itself have religious significance, like a holy symbology of some kind?
You didn't see any markings, any obvious markings of like St. Cuthbert or whatnot. You know that Lothar Palfrey, the one who rode out against the necromancer, he was a paladin, or at least a devotee of St. Cuthbert.
Yeah. That's what made me think about it. Okay. All right. I know there's something noble and about this person, but I just have the sense that there's maybe more to it.
I think if the one thing about this person, you get the sense that obviously he looked dead and whatever else, but his frame was fairly slight. So it was big in the sense that, like, he was able to fill out the armor he was wearing and whatnot, but slight in the way that like squires are.
Yeah. So he fit, but the armor still fit him properly.
The armor definitely fit him properly, but
Yeah.
But not grown man, like young man versus grown man kind of thing.
Yeah.
precisely.
And did his armor look? I mean, I guess it looked super damaged and.
No, pristine.
No.
From what you could see, pristine.
Okay, that starts to give us some ideas here.
Though you may, from your vision, there up is where all the damage you remember occurring.
And was his inability to speak because of a physical, like his mouth was actually kind of okay.
Missing altogether.
Oh, it's missing, was just totally gone.
Yeah.
Okay. Perhaps we should see if we can figure out a way to speak with those who have passed beyond mortal life.
Mm.
This is something beyond me. And I wonder if our proximity to the tower is making these, I don't know whether to call them dreams or nightmares, these visions more intense. I guess we'll find out. So I feel like I'm going to be done with my watch and try to pass it along to the next person, because I need to sort of try to take me a while to get back to sleep.
For sure. So you guys get to the rest of you, otherwise your night passes uneventfully. But it's now that you sort of notice that there's not really any sounds in the trees. Even as morning comes, in the area where you are, all you can really hear is the faint rustling of those bones tied to those leather straps not far from your camp. And that's it. No birds calling, welcoming the morning, no insects chirping, not even anything buzzing in here. This is the middle of summertime.
So the only other thing I think I maybe realized is just like those, just like the elven specters below Heathertop possessed people. I think this thing possesses people, and that's how it hurts the others.
Interesting.
Because the sword, right? The sword that actually did the damage was likely the orc sword, not like some spectral sword.
Mm-hmm. So he carried out his will in the mortal world by taking control of someone who was alive.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So we're not going to be able to find a baby, right? Because there is no baby.
No.
If anything, there's a grown-ass adult.
Yeah.
But maybe the demon didn't take the child. Maybe its goal was just to kill the person.
Uh-huh. That's interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he couldn't carry out his charge, but not because they were after it, but because they were after him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's possible as well.
Because, I mean, who survived from this situation? The smith, right, said something about it, but I don't know. I'm not sure what we can really do about it at this point.
I agree. I think we need to continue with our plan and see what we can do as things come up.
Agreed.
Maybe the orcs were using them to try and ward off the spectral dude.
Mm.
So that's what Druin was trying to figure out. So if the chimes are some kind of a ward and they're rudimentary, maybe that's an orc ward. And if the orcs are being haunted by some spectral knight, what if we take these chimes down? What if we destroy the chimes, the wards? Maybe that will allow the spectral knight to actually communicate with us. Or
so if you made a religion roll well enough, there's no religious significance to either of the chimes you've had. There doesn't seem to be any consistency to where they've positioned the sticks, what's hanging from them.
So it could just be some orcish mumbo jumbo.
Well, I mean, the thing with this world is that it's rare for someone to have a belief that isn't backed up with power, because remember that in this world, you can see when the gods manifest themselves through indirect action or through manifestation and gifting of spells. So if something has actual power behind it, or something is just utter bullshit, it's usually not long before the utter bullshit is found out, because those who have power, in the orcs' case, the priests or the cultists of Grumsh or some of his other degenerate pantheon, they would recognize it as such.
Druin goes and tries to smash the nearest set of chimes down.
Easily. With
then,
your weaponry? Yep.
Yeah. And then he'll walk around listening for the chimes, and he'll call out to the group, help me find any other chimes in the area. If you can hear them, point it out. We're going to smash them. We're going to take them down.
So the only ones that you guys have come across was this one, and then one that you encountered that was more recent, about 3 or 4 hours travel back to the east.
Why? To the west, you mean?
To the west, forgive me, yeah.
I mean, obviously the wards didn't work if that's what they were, because all those orcs were dead.
Or maybe they are working. Maybe they're not keeping orcs from dying, but maybe they're keeping the spirit from manifesting fully.
Or possibly they're not wards per se, but almost like an alarm system, like for a movement or a warning that something is coming.
They seem to be making noise in the wind. They're not like triggered by anything.
I see. So it's not like you would accidentally bump into it if you were.
No, it's wind chimes.
Yeah.
It's a very disgusting and morbid version of it because it's using bones of living things that don't seem to have been cleaned terribly well, and they're not, clay. But what they do is catch the wind and draw attention.
Do they catch anything else?
Very interesting. These ways of orcs are strange to me.
And again, this one, the one that you found here is probably about a year old, which would be contemporaneous-ish with the bodies. The first one you found was only a couple of months old.
So someone's still making them. It's not like they're old and they've been sitting there for ages.
Yeah.
You have been traveling in a straight line towards the keep as well, too. You have not been spreading out or anything like that, so...
Mm-hmm. I guess we should at least keep our eyes out for more of these things as we travel. Perhaps we'll learn something further.
I could try a speak with dead spell. If we come across an orc corpse that's not quite so old, we can find out what they're scared of or what they know of this demon, this spectral knight, or...
And perhaps if it's possible, you might be able to speak to him as well. I don't know.
Do you speak orc? Can that be important?
I thought I did. Nope.
And is it castable only on yourself?
But orcs will often speak common, so that's
true.
enough to get by.
Okay.
Jeff, what are you thinking? You've been pretty quiet.
About these chimes, I mean, I think they're clearly wards of some sort. What they're warding away? Men, demons, spirits? I don't know.
There's no markings on any of the bones. So, like, no carvings of any runic symbols. None of those ancient marks that the way markers that everyone uses for, like, fire or demon or things like that. The things you saw scrawled on the walls or the doors outside of Malfeshnakor's lair. Things you found carved into rocks at certain points. None of that stuff's on here. Doesn't make out any symbol. None of you have cast Detect Magic on any of these yet, but...
True. I did not prepare one today, but I can.
Well, what kind of jerk would make you use up a first level spell for something like that?
I do love sense magic in the Ash game.
Yeah, call in.
She's in the house below yours.
It's a long distance call. I don't know. You have a calling card? Hello?
That cantrip, would that allow us to tell if something was magical, but nothing specific?
Yes, you would be able to if you make a successful check.
I'll try that.
Okay, so you stand over the destroyed remains of the one here.
Yep.
Okay. From what you can tell, there's absolutely nothing magical about this. Now, whether it had some kind of magical thing before Druin destroyed it or not, you wouldn't be able to tell at this point.
You'd probably need actually to cast Detect Magic if there's lingering signs of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell Druin that let's look at the next one before you smash it.
All right.
So what greets you in the morning is returned fog and stillness. What do you guys do with your day?
I'm going to change one of my spells.
Okay.
When the person who was sorry, Dave.
I'm gonna release prayer and take speak with dead.
Okay.
Nice. The person who was awake last night when the dream occurred, who was that? Who was
You know what? It's hard to tell because that person would have fallen asleep anyway. They
Oh,
didn't.
right.
They didn't witness what you did.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Okay, great. Thank you. Shall we proceed? Are our Kokra companions ready to go?
Yep.
Ready to go.
Let's carry on.
I'm ready to go. I mean,
Okay. So you guys get up, you pack up everything, and you begin going along. Max asks, 2 days of fog, is this normal?
No, normally I gotta roll 3 D100s.
It is really unusual for this to be going back to back.
At least it's not a windstorm or a hurricane or a blizzard.
Yeah. Lightning strike.
Weird weather follows Druin around.
Okay. So you guys begin setting out, and you make your way trudging through the Thornwood eastward. As you're going along, obviously, the thought of what you went through the night before keeps returning to you. And while Dorman made a full breakfast for you guys to try and lighten the mood, every now and then you just feel that taste, that coppery, salty taste from that vision returns to you and spit out. You make it to midday, and Dorman, while you're taking your midday repast, Dorman, you're able to cast strength. Sleep on Caldor. Wasted
Put me
spell.
back in that. Wow. Holy shit.
Nice.
That's a good one.
Okay. Holy hell, yeah, 7 strength. Good lord.
Where does that put you at, Jeff?
That takes me all the way to 18, whatever the plus one is. The highest thing I can go to.
What is
I
your...
can't make it to the 5th one or whatever. Like the...
Well, no. So, what is your strength normally? 16?
15.
15. So that would be 18/40. 40.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can never make it past that one.
Oh, I see. I get what you mean. Yeah. Okay.
Like with his best roll, I can't go above that.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's awesome.
So you are feeling strong today, though. And Max has shifted back. He remains in bear form, or man-bear form, as he's making his way, maybe keeping up the rear from you guys.
Want to arm wrestle Caldor?
As you're making your way along as well, too, I think that you guys begin seeing... You first think your eyes are playing tricks on you. When, on your rest, you see a figure somewhere in the fog. And the fog is thick enough that really you can only see about maybe 60 feet. 50 or 60 feet clearly. And then it seems to just envelop whatever sight that you may have, concealing whatever is behind. Though hinting at sinister shapes. Smaller trees that you pass by as well too catch your form. You think you see things hunched or lurking. And for the first 4 hours of your travel today, still no sound. After your break at lunch, Dorman casts his spell, and you guys continue your way on. It is getting closer to evening, and still the fog clings to the air, and the chill runs straight through your clothing. That's when you stumble out into a clearing. And there's not many of them here. This looks like it might be... Maybe this would be a good place to rest. You can only see half of it. but it may extend further. You keep thinking you see things. Knox? Is that blue light? No. No, it's got to be your eyes playing tricks on you. What do you guys do?
Check around for a stump.
So you're looking around in here. There does not appear to be any stump in this clearing. You guys have to stay fairly close to each other. But nothing. This may not even be... When you think about it more, maybe this doesn't even look like the clearing. Though, in your vision, you see it for such a short time and in such different circumstances.
It was a long time ago, too.
If the reckoning is correct, I believe it's like 300 years.
Mm-hmm.
Could have completely changed. Widened, overgrown, new trees come up.
True.
The stump could have completely rotted away.
What do you guys do?
As we continue, I'm gonna just in general continually be scanning for those blue glowing eyes to see if it's leading us if it's really there, and if it therefore was leading us in some direction.
Maybe it's after you stop in the clearing, no chimes. You've come across no more of those things. In addition, Elanion, I'm assuming, is keeping his eye on the ground.
Yeah, I was just thinking maybe we could find, if we can't find the stump, maybe we can find bones or bits of metal.
Yeah.
If this is where the guy died.
You find no tracks really of any kind in here. You find, the odd deer track, but it stands out so much in comparison to the other parts of the Thorn that you've gone through that it feels as deserted as a desert. The most barren part of the half-cut hills. This was what reminds you. And no markings, no tracks of orcs whatsoever.
Do we still have a general bearing of where the spire is? Or
It's been so fog-covered, the Aarakocra I'm assuming, have been staying with you along. So you're kind of stumbling. You're hoping that you're going in the right direction, but this is not the way the Aarakocra know how to get here. They know to go from the air.
Maybe it's worth not pressing on in the fog.
I was just thinking that.
If we're lost, we're lost. I mean, what do you guys think?
The fog doesn't really show any sign of stopping.
Well, not today, no. I don't.
Or yesterday.
And I'm getting to believe that this is purposeful, that this fog is not a natural occurrence.
It could be.
I do not know my way through fog. I do not know my way without fog. So I will leave it to those who are better suited to these things than I to decide whether we should just stay and wait or set out again.
I think when Knox says that, I think there's a cold pit that forms in each of your stomachs, thinking of what is to come tonight. If that vision comes again and it's been increasingly more traumatic, how much more worse will it grow tonight, tomorrow night?
I fear this may have a toll on all of us in some way or other if this continues, and not just the lack of sleep.
I'm already feeling disconnected. Like I still have access to the power of my god, but I don't know, feels different. Like there's some veil or something between us that's making it harder.
I would like to ask the Aarakocra if they're able to fly up to see how high this fog goes, if they would be willing to, and perhaps, I don't know if we're doing a standard operating procedure of having invisibility on them, Jonathan, but this is my question for them: is can they fly up, see how high the fog goes, and can they see if the spire sticks up above the fog?
But how will we find you?
You'll have to come back.
It's a good bird. That's why I asked.
Yeah, that's why they've been traveling on the ground and have not been leading us, because they may be able to navigate quite handily. They've obviously flown near this region before, but they weren't on the ground.
Could we do something like, just to get a sense, I'm checking my equipment. Yeah, I have 50 feet of rope. Could we do something like give them a piece of rope to hold one end of, just to go up about 50 feet, probably not that much, 40 feet, just to see if they can even get above the fog at all?
50 feet is about how far the fog extends.
It is. Okay, that's what I was trying to find out.
Yeah, like that's where it would start. So you would like begin to lose. They can circle above here quite easily, but you know they're definitely worried about losing you guys all in the fog. If they lose you, they can make it back to Featherfall in a day quite easily from here. But
yeah,
hey,
last thing I want
is one of the. Does the ring have any kind of ability to, in the evening, to once night falls, to send up a flare or something, let them know where we are?
I mean, in case we get lost.
Maybe. But it seems dangerous, so I want to hit them with it.
Hey, what's that symbol? Oh my god! Boom. Well, we're eating. I'm gonna miss him so much.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna do, because I have it prepared anyway, and I never use it except for one other time. Just to see what happens, I'm going to pick a portion of the fog away from my companions, and I'm going to weave some mystical energy and see if I can dispel a section of it.
Oh.
Okay.
Just to see.
It's probably not. It doesn't really do anything.
Okay, that's totally fine. I want to see if it was like a totally magical emanation of some kind.
See, the only other thing that the doorman can think of is if he prepares levitate tomorrow, I can go straight up and straight down. Unless a big wind gust blows me away, I should be able to come straight back down.
Why did you give him a thing to do to you?
We'll tie the rope to Dorman.
Not
be like flying a kite.
Yep. Definitely put a key tied between you and Dorman.
Well, what would happen to something? What would happen to a kite with a key on it? Come on.
So it's an option.
Yes, if you want to take that chance. I feel like it's highly dangerous.
A rock just flies by.
And not be confident. And
what about light?
With it.
Knox, so you have that light stone.
I do.
What if we put that in like, so it just shines straight up or something like?
I can try that. I'm assuming that basically it'll light up the fog and it'll just make the fog even more difficult to see through. So like a headlight.
I'm just thinking for the Aarakocra to find us if they go up.
Those, so
my fear is just that it'll just be dispersed, or I don't know. I'm just worried about losing them because I feel like they're incredibly important to us arriving to the spire. Who was leading us? That kind of feels like we're going off track.
Are you asking who the party leader is?
Well, yeah.
What are you
but-
asking here?
That's
Well,
Bergour.
I have no survival ability, so I'm clearly not helping guide us in any direction. So I don't know where. I'm just wondering if if anybody has a sense, like, should we try to venture forward or not?
Well, I think isn't the thought here that we're going to rest in this clearing or not? I think that's what the question is.
We can. I mean, I'm unless people are feeling that there's something wrong with this clearing. I'm happy to stay here.
I'm pretty sure, Gorman's thinking that if this is the clearing in the vision and we're here and we have a vision tonight, something could happen.
It could.
Or perhaps this is,
We flash back to the last conversation those orcs had. And subtitle says, maybe we stick around, something might happen tonight.
Elendin, it may not be. It could be good or bad. We do not know our fate. We may discover more information if we are in the right place. We may have been led here. It's hard to say.
Can't go
Every-
there, so.
Every
Going
day
back-
something happens.
Yeah, and something may happen. That's true, regardless of where we are. I'm fearing getting further lost. Okay, great. Then I'm on board with camping as well.
Okay. Anyone going to look for any? What do you call it?
Water?
Water. Yeah.
Now we should have enough for a day, right?
We've got 3 full water skins, so yeah.
Well, no, you would have drank one today, so.
Oh yeah, no. Now.
Okay.
We should probably look for water anyways.
Why?
I only brought 2 skins. And then I've got 18.
Kalidor just hops.
And then I've got 18 water skins that are empty hanging from my belt in case we get another gust of wind. See, Kalidor, I lose a water skin, you lose a bucket of arrows.
All right. So then you guys make camp, and you guys take turns taking watch. Again, there's thick overcast, or a thick overcast sky. And you guys slowly each drift off to sleep. Would someone give me a D5 roll, please? Or into reverie, in the case of Kalidor and Elanion.
I have a secret spell for Knox tonight. I'm casting Infravision on him.
Sorry, what did you want us to roll, Kat?
D5, please.
Oh, a D5.
So Knox, you get 7 hours of Infravision.
Nice.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Cal-
Tradition holds, you roll yourself. So Kalidor, everyone else is either asleep or deep in reverie. And you're in this... you're keeping watch around this crackling bonfire. The one advantage of being where you are is there is an abundance of firewood available. And it burns wonderfully here, too. Dry, dead limbs that are scattered around on the surface of the forest here. Are you pacing? Are you sitting?
He's probably sitting and poking at the fire.
Okay. So you're sitting and poking at the fire. What are you thinking of?
I think tonight he's thinking he just wants to get there and, get it over with. Like, get the job done, move on, stop, stressing about it and actually get to it kind of thing.
Yeah. So you are looking in and just kind of, thinking impatiently that you want this to be done. And what you hear, first you think your ears are playing tricks on you because you just hear it as if carried on the wind, though there is no wind right now. So it couldn't be that, but Did you hear the cry of an infant? You stop and you look around. And you can hear it again, this time from a different direction. You look over in that direction, nothing but blackness. Nothing but the forest. This continues on 3 times, 4. And it doesn't get any louder, it's only just the barest hint of it. What does Caldor do?
I mean, I think in the state of mind he's in, he would put him on full alert.
Oh, no problem, Hobbs. I know you've had a long day too, and it's earlier for you.
Yeah.
Night, bud.
I think he's, he probably gets his shield out and his sword, and he's out looking around, basically. Like, he is full alert.
Okay, so you're stalking back and forth across the edge. And you think you see, again, or not again, but as you're stalking along and you get close to the edge, the sound is definitely louder in this one area. And when you're standing on the edge of the clearing, the thick, almost impenetrable bushes and trees behind you, you hear the sound of that infant. And you hear the footfall. Something is standing right behind you.
Shit.
The temperature has dropped, and you can feel a source of cold behind you. You have not turned yet. What do you do?
Close my eyes for just a second and turn quickly and open them.
So you turn, and as you spin around, you are all once again in that same scene. I'm not going to go through the full thing again, too, but again, it's even more real for you now. As you guys are carried along, you could feel every branch that cuts your cheek. You can feel every tangle or twisted bush that pulls at your robe. You can feel the pain in your ankle for the time that the mud gives way beneath it, twisting it in an awkward position, and still you get up, and still you run, because this is your duty. And you find yourself once again in that same clearing, but this time there is something different. When you turn and try to face the oncoming enemy, you realize that you are not alone. Give me a second here, guys. Oop. Let me bring you over here. So you have a brief, ever so brief moment in that blackened clearing where you see you are all standing side by side, and behind you is that stump, and you hear from the east that crashing through the blackened forest, that roar, and you know what is coming. Guys, let's have everyone decide what you are doing for the round. And then, let's see here. George, you joined us late. We'll start with you.
Yep. Okay. Let me just decide first.
Sure. Okay.
All right. Everybody ready?
No.
I mean, know what you're
What do you
gonna.
mean? What do you mean, Dorman? You don't got your finger on the invisibility macro?
Nope. I don't have a macro for that one.
I thought it was automatic. Initiative, invisibility. No, it's not. I'm just teasing. There's also enlarge and all sorts of buffs. And
Okay.
Depends on how much danger is in if he goes invisibly the other way. So, haven't seen the enemy yet.
Okay, guys. So, has everyone decided what they're doing?
Yeah.
And George, would you kindly beat my 6?
So, okay, let's see. Here we go. Come on. 3.
Would you roll? 3?
3.
Fantastic. Everyone put on your initiative. I am acting on I think a 14. Okay, because, guys, we'll start with, this thing is not coming in. It'll be on its turn that it comes crashing in. First up is Dorman. What are you doing, Dorman?
He's looking around, taking a few steps back away from the sounds, and he's casting Enlarge on Druin so he can be more mobile.
Okay, let me, this is not appropriate. This?
Oop, that is totally appropriate. What are you talking about?
This feels
Chuck.
appropriate.
Does your enlarge spell come in mushroom form? Because every time you cast enlarge on Druin, I get like Mario in my head.
Yeah. Do. We've been
Well, yeah,
using...
and you always make that sound, Kev, whenever.
Nope, choke. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm a giant and old nerd. Okay. So then, Dorman, you cast that on Druin. Nice. So, Druin, you are now human-sized. Next up is Knox the Unexpected. What are you doing, Knox?
I bang my staff on the ground.
Yep.
And up from the earth right next to me.
Nope.
No, nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
Is that a werebear?
No.
Division?
He's not here.
So
Neither is Elanion.
Darn.
So I'm not going to roll 88 then. Just
No. And you do
I
not
feel
count a
like-
charge. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, do not count a charge.
I was kidding.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Then is... So you hit the ground, and
Nothing happens.
how could this thing be out of charges already?
Yeah.
Druin and Calidor, what are you guys doing?
I'm moving stalkily this way, and he's got his shield he'll raise his shield and draw his sword and almost ready to just sort of swing them in circles wildly at this point.
Okay. And then Druin, what are you doing?
Druin steps in front of Knox, now that he's got some extra longer legs, and summons the power of Clangadin Silverbeard.
Okay.
And his beard turns silver.
Okay. Then, guys,
6 rounds.
what crashes through the forest and then smashes up down into Druin is this. You guys have died to this 2 times so far. Wait, it wasn't you. No, it was you. Was it?
Felt like me.
Druin, your current AC is
3.
3, okay? So the first thing this thing does as it comes crashing in, tries to grasp you with those enormous clawed pincers. Hits with both. You take... Full DR will apply against each of these. 11 points of damage from the first. 3 points of damage from the second. I need you... Nope, ignore me. To ignore what I'm saying. Wait, hold on. How much do you weigh, Druin?
Do I weigh 50% more as well?
You would, yeah.
Large, let's see. Because when you get bigger, your weight enlarges by more.
Okay, well, so Druin is normally 160 pounds plus...
That's good enough. That's all I needed to know. Thank you.
Plus 80 pounds worth of gear.
So he hits you with those 2. Then those vicious little hands underneath. What you can't see in the illustration is there are razor-sharp talons on them as well. It rakes out at you. Fucking 2 hits as well. Druin, you take another... well, I think, is your DR 2 or DR 1? 2. So it rakes across your armor but does not hit you. But then this bite hits with that as well. And you take 6 points of damage. DR will apply against that as well too. And you are held fast in place because he hit with both claws. And this thing's just, it towers over Druin. All right, guys, that is the end of the first round. We're on to round 2. George, could you beat my 2, please?
Okay, I'll try. Here we go. No, not even close.
So this thing seems to be moving faster this round. I'm acting on an 8. Yank with those 2 claws. Druin, you can feel your armor buckle and break beneath as you take 18 points of damage. Full DR will apply against that.
You want to portion that?
Kev, was that 2 attacks?
No, it's 1. It just counts as 1 solid thing. Only apply the DR once there. And then the bite as well. And you take 6 points of damage from the bite again. The claws rake across you, not doing anything. This thing is just flexing that massive carapace, and you can see it's the sickly green and yellow muscles twisting as he's pulling this dwarf apart. Dorman, you're up next. What are you doing?
Stepping forward towards Knox. Then he lets off another enlarge at Calidor.
Okay. Calidor, you are bigger now. Next is Knox and Druin.
Go ahead, Druin.
I'm going to try and break free.
Okay. Give me a bend bars lift gates roll, please.
That's not good. I'm strong, but this is only 13%.
We lose a...
Oh, you made it! You shaking yourself free, and you drop
That's
down.
amazing.
Holy shit, you felt like this thing was going to pull you in 2.
Wow.
Then it is... Knox, what do you have in store here?
So I was while Druin is amazingly, miraculously fighting his way away from the creature. Knox is casting a spell, and a burning ball of fire gets hurled behind the creature and explodes. So it may not do anything. I don't know. But
What you can
it
see
anyway.
as it detonates and it washes over it,
Yeah.
the spell dissipates. It's not that it's immune to the fire. It's that you can feel it. I mean, you know that some of these powerful things. Remember, when you faced Malfeshnacore, there was the similar.
Yeah.
Oh, you weren't there for that one, but when the guys faced Malfeshnacore, same thing. That sometimes the spells just did not. I mean, these things are chaos incarnate, so it may not be.
I was there for something we fought where that happened very early on.
Yeah.
But the spell slot gets used up though, right?
It does. Yeah. There's a devastated crater behind this thing from where the fireball detonated. It's just that it washed over it. Then it is where am I looking here? Calidor, what are you doing? Oh, and you can keep the full 5 for Astonishing Fortune. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
don't
Awesome.
cost
I
anything.
rush forward and bring my sword down upon this thing.
Please do. It looks kind of like a dog. I'll let you use your dog bonus against it.
Oh, nice.
Well, I mean, this is a 15-foot tall demon, so, you know. I'm tossing you a bone here.
Yeah, demon dogs.
Yeah.
To hit is +1. Oh, whoops! I was supposed to put that. Let's put it here.
Okay. That actually does not hit.
Hey.
You hit against this thing, and you're just shocked its feral eyes dart towards you. That maw, that kind of dog-like maw, almost jackal-like, snaps hungrily. But that's the end of the round. Oh, you get... Wait. Caldor gets a second attack. This is a favored round.
Awesome.
Okay.
Come on, Caldor.
Do.
Ah.
Wow.
Frank, jeez, this is... Yeah, you've never hit anything like this before with your... sword. End of the round, guys. We're on to round 3.
And I'm fired. So somebody else.
You're fired. Oh, yeah. Okay. John. Fuck. This thing's acting even faster now.
Did Hobbs have some kind of inside information?
Truly. All right. Nat 20. So with a gesture. Eesh. The 2 claws hit. You take 9 points of damage, then 12 points of damage. Green. So it's 17 in total.
Jeez, Murphy.
And then you take 6 points of damage from the bite.
Jeez.
And guys, this thing bites Druin's head off,
Ooh.
leaving a bloody stump behind.
Okay.
Knox, your turn. What are you doing?
I was. This is so minimal now that I just saw what happened. That I know it's not even going to help me. But I've said some magical words and waved my hands around, and a million hexagons appear in a translucent wall, and then disappear. So I have shield for 25 rounds.
Excellent. Then it is Dorman. What are you doing?
Well, he was stepping forward, trying to go to his friend's aid, and the head rolling off. He's like, he casts slow, trying to catch the thing, and it's...
Oh, no, his head's gone. You've got a pretty good sense of where it went.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm trying to hit the demon thing slow.
Okay.
So it's just, he's like, as he gets a spell off, he's flinching, because...
Again, that spell shatters across this thing.
Fingers over the invisibility button now.
Okay. Then, Caldor, what are you doing?
Yep.
Still trying to hit this thing,
Go ahead.
even though he's now feeling there's no point.
No. Okay. This round, this thing has a second attack.
Oh, good.
That's 2 claws on you, Caldor. 5 points of damage and 12 points of damage.
Jeez.
Both of the little claws miss. And the bite hits again.
Monsters
doing
get specialized with their... Oh, man.
7 points of damage.
Bad.
So the DR would apply against each of those individual attacks. And then we are on to round 4.
I disbelieve.
It's a little... You have, ba-dum-bum, lost your head already.
No. Oh, man.
Jesus. All right, so then next round. Did you record that damage there, Jeff?
Oh, sorry, what was the number?
Well, I gave you 3 of them. I don't remember what they are right now. I think it was 5 and 12 and 7.
Okay, so 12, 5, 7,
4, 11, and 6.
24. Woo. So
Okay.
it's 21.
Then, Dave, we're on to you.
Right.
The Headless Hero. Would you beat my 2, please? This
Oh,
speeds
man.
up even more.
Apparently.
This is right.
Oh.
Caldor,
What did
because
Hobbs
it hit
do?
with both claws.
What did Hobbs do to the initiative before you leave?
Yeah. Eesh. Caldor, you take 21 points of damage. DR will apply. Caldor
Okay,
is pulled
yeah, dead.
in 2. Split right across his waist. Then this thing stalks over, tossing the 2 halves of his corpse aside. The tiny claws go at Knox. One of them is hit. I rolled a 1 and a nat 20, guys. Knox,
Yeah, well.
you take 7 points of damage. DR will apply if you had your
Okay.
armor up. And then it bites you. Also a hit. 6 points of damage. DR will apply.
Okay.
Okay. Then, Knox, you're up. What are you doing?
I only have 2 points of armor left. I was casting a magic missile, which goes.
Okay, let's see here. That hits him.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Ooh,
Okay.
not bad.
Then, Dorman, what do you got in mind?
Well, Dorman's like looking back and forth. He's freaking out. He's like, visibility 10-foot radius.
Okay.
I don't think it's gonna work, but
Okay.
sure, it's a nightmare.
It has its second action. I rolled a 19 and a 20 on those claws.
We can see us, can it?
Dorman, you take 9 and 11 points of damage. DR will apply. Hits you with a claw. 3 points of damage from the claw. Misses with its bite.
It's 24 minus 3.
Okay. That's the end of the round, guys. We're on to round 5.
Just clarifying, it can see us even though I cast a spell, right?
Seems to have hit you. And it's
Okay.
got its... because it hit you with both claws, you are grasped now. All right, here we go. We're on to Jeffrey now. Jeffrey, beat my 9, please.
No problem.
1.
Oh, look at that.
All right. Dorman is up first. What are you doing, Dorman?
This probably isn't gonna work, but he like grabs the edge of his cloak and flickers it and goes ethereal.
Nope.
Yeah, I figured it didn't work.
Doesn't
so.
work at all. Knox, what are you doing?
I am, because that worked, I'm trying it again. Another magic missile.
Okay. Let me make my check here. It hits him again.
Oh, all right. Here we go. Hit it with
Nice.
low-level magic.
Awesome. Dorman,
See a health
you
bar.
take 21 points of damage.
Yeah, I'm way into the negatives.
Dorman pops like a pimple. And then this thing lays into you. A nat 20 and a 1 again.
Yeah. Great.
So this time, Knox, it's just like your vision. Comes in right on your head.
Mm-hmm.
Whose idea was it to stay here?
All of you jerk awake.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, where every token's gone.
Yeah, I was saying we disappeared.
Yeah, I don't know
We've
what
been
happened.
eradicated
Oh, you know what?
from
Hold on.
existence.
Wrong map.
Here we go. I got
Invisibility 10-foot radius works.
It really made you visible even to me. Okay, so you guys are here. Here we go. So, when you guys jerk awake, you can see that. Well, first off, you guys can restore yourself to full hit points.
Okay.
Those of you who had your armor spell, that is back to full for whatever it was at the time you went to sleep.
Spell casting, spell slots.
Spell slots are gone.
Okay.
Then, what I'd like you to do is to reduce your health to half, rounding down.
Okay.
Minus 14.
So, yeah.
What about the werebear?
Werebear is the same as well. So 36 would be 18.
Just like magic items didn't function.
So you guys all jerk awake. Now, I would like each of you to give me same thing, wisdom check, highest roll that doesn't go over Price is Right style. Let's see how you do. And let me get rid of this. Nice, 2 successes at least.
Look at that.
On wisdom.
And a 3 for Druin. Nice. 3 successes, at least. Here's Caldor's time to shine.
Nice.
5. Okay, so Knox, you jerk awake. Tell me how each of you guys is feeling right now. What is going through each of your minds? And how do you wake up? Is it a scream? Is it just sitting up in a cold sweat?
I wake up sweating and like hyperventilating.
Yeah,
And I literally feel ripped apart in every way you could feel ripped apart.
Caldor, you are still standing weak-kneed on the edge of the clearing.
I think he's sort of leaning on his tower shield.
Okay. And you hear this sort of disturbance from back. Dave, what about you? How does Druin react?
Druin wakes up with a shudder and immediately like grabs his neck and he's like, his heart having problems breathing.
Yeah. Caldor, you can see something in the darkness beyond where you are. It looks like something. You think something's hanging from a tree limb somewhere off, maybe 20 yards into the forest. There's no wind, so it's not flapping. It's just hanging there.
Fuck. I mean, I guess I'll go check it out.
Okay. So you step through, and just like in that vision that you keep having, it feels as if every limb that you hit, every bush that you pass, feels like it may be trying to pull you back or confound your way forward. But as you get closer, you recognize it. You can see it. Your dark vision is blessedly back. What you pull down, hanging from the branch, it's the sigil of Palfrey that Knox was keeping in his bag. How the hell did it get here?
I'm very confused. I'll take it down and head back to the fire at this point.
Sure. So you walk back and at a fairly accelerated pace, getting back into the clearing, and then head over to the fire. Knox, you look over, and I think that you expect this. You see Caldor walking back, and it just feels like you knew this was. And it's a passing vision, but you think you have a memory of that same spectral figure standing on the edge of the clearing. Did you? Maybe not.
I find myself just moving to the edge of the clearing to the spot.
Yeah, it's directly from where Caldor's walking, and you're unsurprised to see that he has the banner in his hands.
What did you see, Caldor?
I thought that monster was horrific.
I did as well.
You dreamt the same?
I did. It tore me apart, and all of you.
Me as well.
You seem to be getting more intense.
Viciously so.
You're looking at each other, and you are a little beaten up, but the wounds that you each have suffered is a little different from each other. There's scorch marks on Caldor's armor. There is fresh kind of etching on Druin's armor. You realize, you've got a tender bit of skin dormant, as if like you were scorched.
Strange. How did you get burned, Dorman?
Dorman is uncharacteristically quiet. He's just looking back and forth between you three and just rocking a little bit on his heels and muttering that he couldn't do anything. And
Does anyone here have tracking?
Dorman does.
Dorman, if you look at the ground, it looks like there's been a fight around the campfire. There's markings of a bunch of combatants moving their stance and so forth.
That gets his attention, and he moves closer.
So I think what you are hoping to find, or at least to try and rationalize things, you hope to find the titanic footprints of the pursuer.
What are you doing, Dorman?
I think we find our footprints back and forth.
Correct.
He looks up. I know what killed the orcs. It was the orcs. And what almost killed us was us.
What? Oh.
It is taking control of people, just not in the way Elanion thought. We are fighting each other. This is
Your mind goes back to
dangerous
those.
to go to sleep.
If your mind goes back to those wind chimes that you've not seen for the last little while, what conceivable purpose could those have had?
Keep them awake.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can't sleep. From here out, we
wonder-
can't sleep.
I wonder if it's that we can't sleep or we can't all sleep at the same time. Because haven't people
Yeah.
been nodding off? on the
Yeah,
watch?
exactly.
Those things were not really loud enough to... It wasn't like tin cans. It's bits of animal bone, right?
Right, that's true.
You'd hear it in passing
Mm-hmm.
if you were to casually stroll past it. Definitely would get your attention, but...
Is it the silence that does it?
Uh-huh, right.
They could
That
be
is possible.
Yeah, because
Right.
we haven't been hearing the noise of animals or anything. It's been really unearthly quiet.
But it's also been no wind.
Mm.
And so when there's no wind, it would have be a benefit.
You still heard those ones near your last campsite.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Maybe they are magical. Maybe they're magical enough just to make noise.
Right. Just some kind of very minor enchantment.
Like a, what do you call those cantrips? But like a long-lasting one, maybe?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's still the middle of the night. What do you guys want to do?
Seems like we need to figure out some way of doing something similar.
Well, Herman could probably use a few of his skills to rig something up. And he's got rope, set snares, use rope. If we got little pots and pans, I can hang them up, and we just have somebody just making noise with it.
Guys,
Watch.
did you find any indication of campsites at the location that the two wind chimes you found?
We did not.
Huh. That's interesting. I wonder what this means.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Obviously,
Really don't.
they're protective. I mean, they must be. But wards in a way that we're not used to. That has something to do with what's happening to us now.
Druin, I think what your mind turns to is to one of the ways that dwarves, while dwarves love to say that, they could navigate in mines in their, with their eyes closed. The truth is, they use clever things that would not be obvious to outsiders to mark safe and dangerous passages.
Right.
If you can picture what a dwarven, like Inukshuk would look like, a little dwarven stone piling that would look innocuous to the casual observer. It's not magic, it's not high art, it's not a master of engineering, it's just a simple way of communicating to those who know. This way lies danger.
Well,
Right.
Drummond votes for getting the hell back out the west side and coming back later. We don't know what's going on.
I'll explain that to the rest. Could be. So those tree hanging chimes could be just directing us right into the path of danger if we follow those.
Right, like as in we need to trek through the night and stay awake and follow this path as fast as we can.
Or avoid this specific path and take a more circuitous route to avoid any areas that are dangerous like this.
From this spot,
maybe.
moving directly back, track the age of them. One of them is a year ago. The next is only a few months ago.
It's
The danger area is getting bigger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's expanding.
yeah, it's like the orcs that put markers in the trees for themselves to not go beyond a certain point. Which is probably also why we haven't seen any orcs. They won't venture past those chimes.
I see. So perhaps it doesn't matter which way we go. We are within the zone of this effect.
We either press forward or we pull back.
I wish we had a sense of how far we still have to go.
At this point, I think we try to use the Aarakocra to figure out how far we have to go, and then we send them back. They won't
Send them back alone?
send them home.
Mm-hmm.
If they can tell us how far we are, great. If not, they should go home because there's
So like
nothing
straight up, figure out how far it is, straight back down, tell us, and then fly out of here and get out of here.
because there's nothing here for them but death.
Yeah.
Right. And these are the young ones of the tribe.
And there's not many. Their numbers are dwindled as is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We didn't save them just to bring them back out here and die.
Right. I agree.
Max
So perhaps-
asks, and gesturing towards the banner, which of you put that out there?
Oh, I thought, Calor, did you not put that out there? I saw you carrying it back in.
I didn't put it out there. I found it out there.
Who put it out there?
It might have been one of us under the influence of whatever this was.
Can you tell, Dorman? Can you see who's... Can you make out whose footprints they might have been?
Can you show us where it was, Calidor?
Sure, I'll bring them back to the rough area, the tree that I think it was.
Knox, there's a brief flashback you feel as you're walking towards it. You see in your mind's eye, this is where that thing was standing. And then it's gone. You almost know where Calidor is going to lead you.
Uh-huh.
Walks up to a point and he gestures towards where 20 yards in, he found it. Dorman, you can easily see Calidor's tracks there. Those are the only tracks.
I believe that I saw the knight, the specter, standing on this very spot with maybe with the banner. I can't recall. It's like the vision escapes me every time I try to focus on it. But I believe I saw it right here. So perhaps it took the banner.
Why?
It is of Palfrey.
So an ally, would we call it an ally?
I believe it's an ally. I may be wrong, but I consider it an ally, and I hoped that I conveyed that we were allies of it. I wonder if it was trying to lead us away from here, or...
Warn us or get us away from the clearing?
Yeah. Perhaps. I don't know, but I will pay better attention next time. And if I
Dorman,
see some...
you're the one who, I guess, has followed the tracks in to the 20 yards to ensure there's nothing around where it was listed. Calidor, you may have gone in as well, too, to be able to point out specifically what tree it was hanging from. Druin and Knox, do you remain on the edge? With the infravision you have now, Knox, you can clearly see them. Or do you follow them into the forest?
I think I'll go into the. I think I'm drawn to go into the forest.
So Calidorus leaves you standing alone once again on the edge. Oh no, not you, Druin. Sorry, Druin.
So I'll go with Knox.
So all of you are in there, standing underneath this tree. And you can see that, again,
Why, what do you think this tree is, guys? Does anybody have survival or anything that could make a guess at how old the tree is?
No idea.
If you look up, I mean, this whole stand that you're in seems smaller than the trees that you've seen around you. Maybe they're newer?
Anybody want to climb the tree and see if there's anything up in the tree?
Well, Dorman's pretty good at that.
Okay.
So, and similar kinds of trees, just smaller size.
Definitely.
Okay.
One of you mentioned the tree the stump could have grown into another tree. What if the stash was this tree and the knight's trying to get us to this tree so we can find whatever it is that's been stashed?
Could be.
Or at least find some clues to what
If
we
you
need to do.
look around, this is a very level area. And all these trees are definitely younger. And while you don't have the eye that, say, you know, Elanion or maybe Oleana may have, these trees, if you fleck their bark, it's this white, like, birch bark. And it comes away like dry paper when you move your hands. These are not healthy trees. And Druin, further to what you had said, if you look down, is that... Druin, there might be something sticking out of the ground. It looks like a triangular piece of metal.
He'll dig around and try and get it out or see what it
As
is.
soon as you hit it, you realize it's much larger because it barely moves. You have to dig around. What you find, a pommel for a sword. And as you pull it out, partially buried, partially covered by these white trees. And Knox, you don't need to make a roll for this. You've seen this sword before.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Though the scabbard is nowhere to be found.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys do?
So all we can see is the pommel.
No, Druin's able to bring the whole sword out from the ground.
We can't pull the whole thing out. Okay, great.
Yep. It was buried in this. And unlike a lot of the other areas, this is not a part of the woods that is covered with old winding roots and stuff like that. These trees seem to come directly out of the ground. The roots stretching deep beneath. There's almost a clear mud floor here, apart from the fallen leaves.
If we dig around where the sword was, can we verify the scabbard? We just didn't pull it out of the scabbard.
Druin is 100% sure he didn't pull it out of the scabbard.
Okay.
And does the sword look... what condition is it in, I guess is the best way to ask the question. Is it used up and battered from a lot of use? Is it...
Yeah, Druin doesn't even need to make a roll. He looks at this, and it's a well-made sword, better than the ones that you've seen the orcs have. If you were to think that a sword would be buried in the ground for 300 years, it may look like the condition this one is in.
Okay. And how about for usage-wise? Does it look like it's been used a lot? Are there scratches and that sort of stuff?
There's a couple of nicks and dents in it in the thing, but this is an almost absent the fact that it's been underground for so long and the corrosion that no doubt affected. It looks like a pristine new sword, better crafted, certainly than what the other one was.
Obviously, this must have belonged to the knight who actually, I think, was not a knight at all, but squire, or a newly knighted squire, perhaps on his first mission for his people. For this, his armor was not well used, nor does it seem this blade was either. But I wonder if this is what he is looking for. Perhaps if one of us sees him again, we should attempt to give him this blade back. Do not know if he can use it, but
What if the blade is significant somehow?
I'll take a closer look at it, looking for any kind of markings or inscriptions or.
What was
like
that thing that Dorman was doing to check for magic?
Oh, cantrip to test if it is magic.
And I'm gonna prepare this once we get up. I'm gonna do a learn it, memorize or detect magic. So
Okay. Okay. There's no magical aura on this.
Okay.
Though there is... Ooh, this is a strong necromantic magic feel
Dorman flinches away from it.
around here. It's not coming from the sword. It's coming from around here. You're looking down. There's maybe 1.5 feet away from where the sword is. That's where you're getting that sense. Something that chilled you right from the tip of your head down to the bottom of your spine.
And Dorman points it out and says, "There's a bad aura coming from over here, guys.
What kind of bad aura?
Feels like death."
Like a body?
There's the
Could be.
same loamy soil that you're looking down at, fed by perhaps 300 years worth of fallen leaves. What do you guys do?
Not high enough level to cast a Speak with Dead on something that's 300 years old.
Mm-hmm. Is there any way, do you think, Druin, to consecrate this area, or is that even worth attempting to do?
It might be worth trying, but I'd be ready for a fight if all it does is stir the hornet's nest.
Perhaps we should wait till the morning then, once we have all refreshed ourselves as much as possible.
Fair.
Calidor, you've been pretty quiet. What's been going through your mind?
I mean, honestly, he thinks this whole thing is a death trap. I don't know.
Is his mind going back to those visions again?
Absolutely. Well, just to being easily ripped in half. He couldn't hurt this thing with his weapon, and...
So you're looking at that, and now Druin's pulled that sword out, and you have the vivid, tactile memory of, for one, how familiar that sword was in your hand, how many times you practiced with it, how proud you wanted to make someone with that, and where it was cast from your hand as you died. You can almost picture from where you're standing, where you were, where the sword fell, and other elements of that vision. The landscape has changed.
But it's the same place.
You can feel it. As real as the mind-shattering pain of having your head collapsed in again and again and again. You can feel you fell there. You can feel your sword from your hand. But before that, across the centuries and through the mind's eye, you can see that blackened forest that you ran through, bearing your charge. You can picture now, though surrounded by these deathly white trees, you can picture the clearing.
I feel as though I've died here many times.
When he mentions that, I think all of you can feel that too.
Too many times.
And it's rare, the living beings that can speak to standing on the very place that they died.
They feel real.
And
We can't reverse it. Maybe we can make it right somehow.
Mm-hmm.
if you close your eyes, you can almost see it again too. That same empty field, that lone stump, and the blackened wall. Comes from somewhere in the forest. A cruel and feral laugh. You see your eyes snap open. You don't have to close your eyes if you wish to put yourself back there, but does that narrow the gap? Does it close the span of centuries by doing so? What do you guys do?
I close my eyes.
Druin, you close your eyes and you can hear it crashing through the forest. You can hear that feral growl as you position yourself between that oncoming force. The doom of your master and your charge behind you.
Do I see Druin moving? Do I see Druin moving? Like, my eyes are open. Do I see him physically moving?
Druin, right now you are in the place waiting for the charge. You know what is to come. What do you do?
I draw Rebella.
You draw Rebella again. You can feel it going through you. He seems to have drawn his weapon, guys.
Okay.
Dorman,
I'm gonna
yeah.
go ahead, Jonathan. You can try to wake him up.
Dorman looks at Druin and just like walks up next to him and then closes his eyes and tilts his head.
You're in the same place. You feel as if you are there. You can feel the sound, the trembling in the ground. God, you didn't feel this before. Something is crashing through. Your heart is pounding so hard you've got a headache. You've got a headache even in spite of the focus that you're trying to get. And you can hear from behind you the soft mewling of your charge. Druin, your eyes are fixed on what is surely to come. Your death. Dorman, what do you do?
Druin says, Dorman, get the baby.
And Dorman, what do you do?
His first instinct is to just stand next to Druin and draw his sickle, but he turns and looks for his charge.
You turn and look back, and you can see that embroidered cloth poking out just slightly on the far side of the stump. Your eyes remain closed. You have looked back across the centuries. What do you do? Druin, it is almost upon you.
Dorman goes for it.
Okay, you go racing over. Knox and Calder, you see Dorman, his eyes closed, scramble directly away from Druin. Druin has his back stationed between wherever Dorman is running. Dorman, you go racing over, and you can find a slight hump, a depression in front of it. And as you, in your mind's eye, it says the stump, but when you feel out, you are in the mortal world. You look over, and you can see that thing, the pursuer, crash through the undergrowth, and it is moving directly towards Druin. Those massive claws coming down. You know what is to happen. Druin, you're facing certain death. What is going through your mind?
Druin's like, I need to buy Dorman the time to do what we came here to do.
Okay, so you stand firm. Dorman, what do you do?
So there's the depression's empty. There's nothing there.
Are you opening your eyes?
If there's nothing there in the vision, I open my
In the
eyes.
vision? No, the cloth is there, and you can see something. A tiny hand move up. Pink.
Well, I try to grab it. Just grab the bundle.
Knox and Calder, you see Dorman plunge his hands into the loamy earth, and rooting around until pulling something up from the surface. Druin, those claws are coming directly towards your face, and you're in blackness. Nothing is here. Your heart is still pounding. You can feel the pressure in your temples. Do you open your eyes?
No, he holds until he hears Dorman.
Okay. Knox and Caldor, you can't quite see from where Dorman is standing what he's cradling. But as he turns, I think all of you recognize this from having seen it, from having placed it in a safe and careful area. Desiccated over the centuries and rotted from being underground for so long in such acidic soil. It looks more now like a soiled potato sack. But very faintly you can see the embroidering of the symbol of the Paul Frey family. You need not look inside, but you can feel, Dorman, whatever is in here. Perhaps you get, in the wan moonlight, you get a slight view of a tiny and sadly shattered skull.
With that, his eyes will open and there's visible tears in his eyes as he looks down.
The moon also catches something else. And you can see sitting in there, no doubt what used to hang on some fabric. There is a stone set in there. A beautiful red stone. And turning on the back, there's the sigil of Paul Frey. Your thumb moves across it. This may have been an heir. And you can feel across the centuries, the sense of disappointment. You failed in your charge. I think, Knox, in your eye, you can see that blue glow off to the side. And standing in mute witness to this is that same spectral knight. What happens next, guys?
I raise my hand to the knight and then put it over my heart.
He returns it as well, too. His face, a look of serenity. But those blue flecks of light that are now his eyes still look at you. You guys can hear Druin's ragged breath, and he still waves that sword in front of him. Caldor, what do you do?
I'm gonna walk over to Druin with my shield raised.
Okay.
And approach him and put my hand down on him.
Druin, you feel a hand, but you can tell it is not. It's a firm and comforting hand. What do you say, Caldor?
Druin! Brother! You doing?
Protecting Dorman from the beast.
Dorman will say, it's okay, Druin.
So, Druin, your eyes open, you turn, you can see Caldor is standing next to you, a solemn look on his face, standing in these bleached white trees. And you look over at Dorman, his face wet with tears. And the broken treasure that you guys have been seeking, cradled in his hands.
Did you find it?
Aye.
You found it. It was there. In the dream realm.
Well, it was living in the dream realm. It wasn't here. And Dorman will turn to the spectral figure and just look at it and says, rest night. We'll deliver your charge back to its home.
It nods, and it steps forward, walking up to Knox once again. That sword that Druin had drawn from the earth is lying at your feet. And you can see there's...
I was going to say, I pick it up and offer it to him, like, palm.
It takes the sword, and it lifts it up as if it was corporeal, and you can see that there is an empty scabbard at its side now.
Mm-hmm.
Returns the sword from whence it, no doubt, came 300 years past. And it leans in. And though its face is covered, you guys can see that it seems to whisper something to Knox, though without words. Knox, you know a secret way into Broken Spire Keep.
Mm-hmm.
The way they fled, the way that they escaped, at least for a time. You know this way.
Okay.
So what happens next, guys? With that, the knight turns and walks away, and with a blink, that blue haze seems to go. And you guys find yourself standing in a moonlit stand of white birch trees.
Fog still, or has it dissipated?
Dissipated. It is a balmy summer night.
Druin is right. We must bring this air back to the keep and bring it to its proper place. But in the meantime, is there something we can do, Druin, to give honor to this lost child?
Yeah, we can pay last rites, or say last rites, and pay our
There is
respect.
that ceremony spell
Mm-hmm.
out of the priest spell compendium. That's sort of the catch-all for what those... What do you call it? Oh, it's actually in the... it's not in the PHP, it's in the priest spell compendium.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to do something that is like the ritual of last rites, that's absolutely how you'd go about doing that.
Yeah, I can pray for that in the morning.
And in the meantime, Dorman will gather a bit of the dirt that the child was entombed in, and just wrap it up together in one of his I think one of his spare cloaks.
Yeah.
You know,
It may be a little... You could easily wrap these tiny remains in that pennant if you wanted to have it's traveling in something clean.
Yeah. And also, it's appropriate.
might be a good idea to do that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a burial shroud.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, the rest of the evening passes uneventfully, though I take it that you likely don't get much sleep.
Right.
Dawn comes, and what happens next, guys?
And now we can see how...
Sorry,
whether... I was just wondering how are we, able to... There's still no fog.
You wake up to the sounds of chirping birds.
Awesome.
There's a warm summer sunlight that beats down on you. It appears like it will be a wonderful day. Your friends, the Aarakocra, are able to take aloft without worry of losing you, though they would appreciate if they are close as they think they are, the invisibility. When they return, by night's fall, you will reach Broken Spire Keep.
Excellent.
Wow.
I'm gonna heal. I still have healing spells from yesterday. I'll use.
They can also give you I think we'll let you hear it. They'll give you a rough layout as well, guys, because they're invisible. Right? So,
Awesome.
what happens today then, guys?
So,
Well,
Kev,
one thing. Oh, sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
I was going to say, so this all happened in the night
Yes.
that we were wounded. So I pray for my spells at dawn. So could I cast a couple of cures before?
Of course,
dawn?
yeah.
Should have done that. So wrapped up in what we were doing, I was like, oh yeah, our characters are injured.
I think that was character appropriate.
Okay.
The player's a biscuit.
All right, and then what do you do with your day?
One thing I'm going to do, if I had said I was going to memorize a detect magic spell, which I did, and I'm going to cast it and check on a couple of things because it lets me check like one thing.
Five items.
Yeah. So I'm going to check, to start with, I'm just going to check the remains of the child just to see if there's any like necromantic magics on it or anything problematic. Okay, good.
If you're keeping I'm assuming you're keeping that like scarab or whatever separate. That is magical.
Calidar gets 14. Knox, you get 4. Dorman gets 8.
Do we have anything else that we have not detected magical that we wanted to try?
I think everyone took the extra day last time to identify and detect magic on the stuff that you found with the bog monsters. Yeah.
Okay, great. So I'll just do that and relay that to the group. I also wanted, if I can, my knowledge of how to go in this secret way, is it like I'll know it when I see it, or is it that
let me show you. So this is what is drawn out on the ground by your Aarakocra allies. This is the first level of Broken Spire Keep. The spire that gives it its broken namesake is right over that big square middle structure.
Okay.
The secret way in is right next, so you see where the big square structure is with the 4 square pillars on it, the main keep there?
In the bottom left?
Yep. On the bottom, actually going from there is that staircase there. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Between the staircase and that next structure there, there is a secret door.
Okay, great. So I'm going to, on this, map that they've drawn, I'm going to point out that spot.
They said that the courtyard is full of orcs. They saw at least 30 going around in there. I'm not sure. Well, no, they probably would have. I actually don't think they would know what the orcs are necessarily. They would know they'd be ugly green humanoids, just because the orcs, as soon as they moved in and found out what was happening to the east of them, they generally didn't travel east, which may have proven a boon to Featherfall inadvertently.
Right.
What else happens today, guys? Or are you guys setting out?
Well, one question is, Dorman, do you want to be the one to carry the corpse of the child?
He'll carry it, yeah. I mean, out of all, he'd probably be the best one to carry it.
Yeah.
At this point, remains is a better word than corpse because there's...
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right.
What level is that ceremony spell?
It's first level.
First? Okay, so I'll take 1 fewer cure light.
Okay.
Who's still hurt? How bad?
I'm down. I'm like at the 2/3 mark.
Same for me.
Dorman, you're down still?
Yeah, 7 more to heal me to full, but I've got plethora of healing items, so if I need it, I can.
Well, you're 1 better. I've actually got, and I have 2 potions of healing, Dave. So, sweet.
Nice.
I'm nearly full.
Okay.
So that's great.
Calidor? Did you add your... You added your 30? You're good?
Yeah, you healed me from 18 to 32, so I'm almost full.
Max is down to 18 out of 37.
Excuse me.
Max?
Yes.
I have potions too, but I usually keep them for when people are down and or our healer is down.
I'm
Yeah.
telling
Yeah.
you. I'm telling you, it's hard for Clangadin to reach me here.
Max,
Oh yeah, really too. Jeez, snake eyes on it. Good lord. All right. So guys, I think with you guys getting ready, Druin, you performing a ceremony early on, are you honoring the child? Are you honoring the knight? Or are you honoring both?
Both.
Both? Okay. So, it with the change in the weather, you definitely feel you feel warmer. You feel like your connection that you felt had been stifled or at least smothered over the last little bit. It feels like it's returning, in spite of your decreased healing magics. So when you guys head out, you guys will be heading out easily with the guidance of your Aarakocra friends. And if you choose, by end of day, you'll be setting eyes on Broken Spire Keep. So,
Yep.
we
Awesome.
will end our session there, guys. And, including Hobbs, so whatever spells you used, whatever things you did, fighters, you did not defeat any adversaries today. However, I am going to grant everyone, let's say 2,000 XP for today.
Wow.
That'll be before your XP bonus. And Hobbs will get that as well. So I'll put that in Discord so he can be sure to get it. All right, guys.
That was some heavy roleplay stuff.
Mm-hmm. So.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
I'm glad you enjoyed. So that brings us to the end of our episode. God, I love October. For those listening at home, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns regarding this session, the game we're playing, or the campaign, please do not hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section of the video, and I will endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. I'm behind right now, but I will be getting caught up this weekend, so if you have commented in the last little bit, I apologize. I will be getting back to you this weekend. In addition, you can find me on Twitter at Dungeon Musings, and you can find me by email. My email address is dungeonmusings@gmail.com. If you are new to the channel as well, too, and you want to not miss any future episodes, be sure to click on the subscribe button and click on the bell icon to be notified when we go live. You can also find the schedule for the coming weeks for the coming week. Every Sunday night, I post that on the community tab of the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. I also post it on Twitter, and I post it on the Dungeon Musings Discord server. And if you look in the description of this video, you can also find a link to the Discord server. I'm sorry, the Discord server. Yeah, that's right. And you are more than welcome to join us there. There's a ton of great people there. We have channels dedicated to all the games we run on the channel, as well as a bunch of other terrific stuff, like finding a group, like online conventions, like pictures of our pets, and like discussion of a wide variety of different games, including the ones we run on the channel and other ones like 5th edition and so forth. So tons of great stuff there, tons of great people, and you are more than welcome to join us. Speaking of great people, the last thing I'll say is a big thanks to the players from tonight. So, George, John, Dave, Jeff, and Hobbs, who unfortunately failed his save against my sleep spell. The dulcet sounds of my voice and the rhythmic sounds here. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for playing tonight. This was a really fun change from our usual.
It was awesome.
I'm feeling kind of bad for Max over there, who's he's getting heavy-handed stuff on his first trip out.
It's never a walk in the park with our heroes. Definitely not. So, and for those who joined us live as well, too, thank you so much for joining us, guys. That was a lot of fun to check in with you. I know the players were in chat quite a bit as well, too. So thanks so much for keeping them entertained when I am falling short. So, for those listening at home, if you are listening to us live or contemporaneous to the recording of this, and you're still listening or still finding yourself in the middle of the current crisis, we do hope that this finds you healthy, safe, and weathering the current crisis as well as can be expected. We hope that we gave you a few hours of time to turn your mind off of the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that our heroes keep getting themselves into, picking fights with 300-year-old demons. I mean, my goodness. And until we see you again, happy gaming.